Hydrofield cuts through my neighborhood.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, we're a few minutes late. We were getting everything ready for the stream, but I'm really, really excited because Steve and I have with us tonight, we have Miss Vegan.
Hello.
And we have Ricky Rants. Everybody's been requesting some rants. So, I mean,
everybody's
you guys asked
for it, really.
Rants, please.
So there's been a lot going on, and I was like, wow, I think we need to do a little bit of a clarification stream because there's a lot of information that's going out, everywhere. So if you guys want to give a little bit of your background, like what and most people probably know that watch the stream, but we might have new people that don't know like what you organize and all of that. So the floor is yours.
Ricky, you go first.
No, you can go.
No, you.
You guys are too cute.
Okay, fine. I'll go. So my name is Elizabeth, and I live in Washington State. I have a background in not only customer service, but also patient service. I was in the dental field for 10 years. I've worked in nonprofit, in corporate practice, and also private practice. I am taking a break from dental for the time being. And I have been fighting for healthcare since Bernie kind of introduced me to it way back in the day. I started following him around 2006 when he entered the Senate. And so since then, I've just kind of been an advocate and done a lot of work in the community. I've done like compassion clinics and Project Homeless, Dentistry from the Heart, Homeless Veterans Stand Down, like a ton of clinics in the community. And I have volunteerism in my past from before then, doing other things as well. And so I also worked on Force the Vote. And that's actually how I got connected with Ricky. We were all doing our own things in the States and putting pressure on the Progressive Caucus. And you know how that kind of played out. And I took a break from activism because, it was really honestly like traumatizing the way that people backlashed against this simple request for a floor vote. And then I got kind of enticed to get back into it, and I joined March Medicare for All back in May of 2021. The second meeting that I joined, I volunteered to be the bookkeeper, which was such a crazy thing to take on, and I just kind of dabble in a little bit of everything at March Medicare for All. So here we are.
All right.
That is such a great intro. That's amazing. You do so much work. Just take a moment to really let that sink in and how much you do. Thank you. Thank you for all that you've done and everything that you do. That's really amazing.
It's not about one person. It's really all of us.
But it is. It is right now. It's about you and how amazing all of that is that you do.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. You deserve that,
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm Ricky. I live in New York. I was at Force the Vote. I didn't do all the work that Elizabeth did for Force the Vote, although I was one of the people that encouraged Jackson to do Force the Vote. I was randomly in his chat saying, go to DC, start it. And he had a little bit of a following back then, not nearly as many people as he has now.
It wasn't anything like
he had
now.
a few thousand, and I had just figured out who he was. It was December 2020, right? And I was like, go to DC. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, go. So I pushed for Force the Vote. I did that, but I was not part of the Slack mess that was Force the Vote.
Lucky you.
Yeah, democracy is real dead. That shit was crazy. That was like a hostile takeover. Oh, crazy. But I was at Force the Vote in DC. And it was not a huge group at all, but it was 3 days of like marching around the Capitol, almost getting arrested, cops taking my picture, a cop for every protester. So, Jan 6 is a bunch of bullshit staged because we had a cop for every single one of us and dogs and all kinds of shit. Like, it was like that. So
how dare you want healthcare for people? Like, what?
For healthcare. It wasn't storming the Capitol, So my eyes to like the power of that place. It is intimidating. It's cold. It's pretty heartless, actually. If you actually go to Capitol Hill, like I know it's like a tourist destination. A lot of people have been there, so people know what I'm talking about. It's like beautiful, pristine, giant marble buildings, but it is cold. It makes you feel small, and it makes you feel very inconsequential, and just it kind of makes you feel like shit. Really, you're like, wow, this is so cool, and then you leave, and you're like, that is horrible. That is creepy. It's actually creepy. DC has a creepy energy, in my opinion. I'm ranting already. Jesus, shut up. But I was at Force the Vote. I was disappointed. I really thought we might get a little, I thought Cori Bush might switch it up at the last second. But she fell right in line. There was, this is like she had just, gotten there. So I was like, maybe there's a chance. Maybe we can get a freshman congressperson before they really fall in line, because that's the time to get them, right? And if that person makes a ripple effect, that would be huge. And we didn't even get Cori Bush. She kind of looked like she didn't know what she was doing. It was a weird thing. She like kind of didn't vote and then did vote. It was like a whole weird thing with her. And I think like AOC went to the bathroom and people thought she didn't vote or something like that. It was like the dumbest thing ever. There was like so much fake drama, and then no one stood up to Nancy Pelosi, obviously. So huge.
I feel like it was like it was a very revealing time, like just watching it from the sidelines and just pushing for Force the Vote and like all the pushback that I just got. I couldn't be there in DC, but I'm like, all right, I'm gonna advocate how I can, and it was just the most revealing, like nothingness. Like it was like so much momentum, so much like, oh my gosh, like I felt like we really had something. Like it was something, we had something of substance, you know what I mean? And it went, that was sand, and it blew all out of my hand, and I didn't even get to grab it,
And one reason I thought it was like really telling is that like it was a perfect opportunity for a photo op for one of these progressives. Like, how AOC never misses a photo op, right? She 3 days we were out there, even the day they voted, it could have been like, oh, you know what? This is why I'm voting for Nancy, but I respect what you're doing. Photo op. Like, that's what they usually do. They were not even there. They did not even like make an appearance, and they make an appearance because I've seen them in person, in the flesh, multiple times. A lot of them. I've had meetings with some of them, So so the fact that they were just MIA completely, it's like, ooh, we're not allowed to do what we're doing. This is crossing the line. Nancy Pelosi is crossing the line. That's crazy to me. So
yeah.
It was really crazy. It was just like, wow, like we're really not going to have this. Like it made me realize like, no, it's not going to happen. And holy shit. Like it was like a smack in the face and like a smack into reality. Like
to me, it was just like one of those moments where anybody who wasn't in favor of that, it was just obviously showing their ass, and therefore at least you had some kind of like metric to measure the shittiness of the shit lib.
Yeah, very revealing.
I mean? That's kind of what it was good for, and a lot like this whole pandemic time has done exactly the same thing. The people who are unwilling to evolve to a more informed opinion about things instead of keeping with whatever the narrative is. You know what I mean? The people who never get past it, it's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? This is so obvious. This is a no-brainer. Like, just look at the information. Everybody is screaming the same things.
Yeah.
I found it. I mean, Cori Bush was the last holdout that I had because I really thought because she was so new and not already tarnished by the establishment that
She's not
maybe, and
icky
she
yet.
has activist roots, and she also, I believe, is a nurse if I remember correctly. And so I was calling her twice a day. I was calling like 22 different representatives every single day. I had a script. I shared it with a bunch of people. We were all, tweeting it out and contacting people. And I mean, I really had hope for Cori Bush, and Force the Vote was the most exposing betrayal that I think I have experienced in a while. I mean, Bernie really let me down in 2016 when he capitulated to Hillary Clinton after we already found out that the primaries were rigged. And then this, and I'll never trust a politician ever again. I don't care who you are. I'm not going to trust you because I feel like once you get into office, regardless of what letter is after your name, you're part of that team. You're no longer part of this team.
Yeah, you're part of exactly what we're fighting against.
You're part of the machine.
That's why, we're like, no, and any kind of focus on these politicians it's really, for the most part, it's a gigantic waste of time because we know what they're going to do.
Yeah, they prove it time and time again. The thing that amazes me, and I've said this lately a bunch, is that nobody really that I see stands up and says, you know what, this entire thing is fucked. This is a fucked system. Why are we trying to vote our way out of a fuck system?
Why are we trying to fix something that's
why
just
are
fucked?
we not allowed to use any other kind of system? The mere suggestion of it is heresy. You're a fucking crazed fucking extremist if you suggest that this 246 years or whatever the fuck is a failure and doomed to more failure unless we change all the things, right? But if you say that out loud in a crowded restaurant, you'll be in a fist fight in about 5 seconds with some proud Marine who went to war and fought for you. That is the rhetoric. They fought for you. So you have to feel guilty. You have to be guilty. You have to vote. You have to stay in the cycle, because what else are you supposed to do, Steve? You can't just not vote.
Oh, yes,
well,
you can.
And then they come back here and are tossed aside or, don't receive the care that they deserve and don't have a house. A lot of the homeless population are actually veterans as well. A lot of
a large amount.
Yeah, I've worked with homeless people. Like, I know there's only one person that I've actually come across that was validly, like, totally just choosing to be homeless. They preferred it that way. Everybody else is like, they came across bad circumstances that occurred in their life and it put them in this position, and they're stuck there because people just look down upon them. They don't want to give a hand up.
I have in my time, I've met several dudes and a lady who were all trained in the service, all were like, did like 8 or 10 years in the service, and they all could survive on the land. They were just like, whatever, I don't care. I fucking, you know what I mean? They didn't care about being outdoors. It was not a big deal. That's where they lived. They had their stuff hooked up in the woods, and you know what I mean? Everybody's like, oh, they're crazy. The woods, who's fucking crazy? You know what I mean? I opt out of the system. The thing is like rigged from the start. They lie to us from birth. They lie to us till we're dead. They extract every bit of life force from our bodies and lie to us the whole time. So how can you blame anyone who wants to just like not be part of it?
Right. And then
my mindset on that has changed like drastically from when I was young.
Yes.
And then we're told that we're only allowed to function within the bounds that have already been decided by people we'll never meet in our life because they're gone and dead. Like, that's ridiculous. You can't imagine something better. You can't imagine tearing down a broken system and fixing it and making it better so it's functional for people that need it.
That's my whole trip is like lately is like, you can't have a revolution by joining a side. It doesn't work that way. You go around the things that are already in place and you create a new thing. That's what a fucking revolution is.
Yeah. And that revolution,
that.
and even with it's not like we're trying to say like we need to invent a whole new healthcare, like just healthcare in general. No, we want to improve the system of healthcare and improve all of it, right?
Right, but that includes breaking down the current system to have a better one where we can improve and expand and make coverage comprehensive.
Yep.
And that's where I think people are confused. They're like, why do you want a system, right? That we know that the government is corrupt. We know you say all these things, right? You say all of these things over and over again. Why do you want to have a healthcare system within this? It's like, yeah, but we don't want that. We don't want them running it. We don't like it seems like it's the same talking points that just keep getting used, and it's like you have to keep having clarification over it, because that's not what you're advocating for. You're not advocating for us to just have more of this same system. No. And that's the difference. That's like, I really want to make sure people understand that you're fighting for a new system. I mean, obviously we have to use some of the pieces, you know what I mean? Like there are some moving parts that work, you know, like we have certain people, like certain hospitals that can be in existence in this new system. We don't have to we're not going to destroy every hospital and rebuild a new one. That's not part of, you know what I mean? It's like you take the pieces that do work and you take the ones that don't work and you figure out how to make them work again. You know, it's like if something's not working, then we have to figure out the parts that aren't and replace them and make it better. But I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes in.
Yeah. I mean, there's a huge split with healthcare now, and I think this is by design. I think when you've screwed people over for decades and then you throw out a bunch of different options in front of their face and then you shift your narrative here and there, you know, you have Obamacare and the you have single payer, you have national Medicare for all, you have the ballot initiatives, you have I don't know, the all these different options and all these things that, you know, they flash in front of your face, and then people get confused. They get bombarded with information. It's like information wars. It's like anything else, right? It's like being bombarded with information about Ukraine or any other highly propagandized topic, right? They've literally beaten people down. You know, Medicare Advantage. What is that? You know, like there's always something. There's always a new thing in this scam.
It's really confusing.
It really is confusing. Every time I turn around, I'm hearing something new that I've never heard before in healthcare. I'm like, what now? What scam are they coming up with now to literally suck us dry? Like literally,
right?
Just literally milk us for every dollar.
And they're always a variation on something you already understand, like a name that you can relate to. That's like kind of familiar, vaguely familiar.
They rename it.
They rename things too.
It's like just slightly different definition or slightly, you know, it's like, it's just enough to confuse people. And so where two people can be yelling at each other and arguing about the same thing and actually agreeing on the same thing too.
Yep.
Like Steve and I will do that sometimes. Like we're talking to each other very passionately. And I'm like, oh, and he's like, we're agreeing with what we're saying, you know? And that's the thing. I think that a lot of confusion is happening. So like we have to keep doing these streams where, you know, I'm like, all right, you know, let's clarify again. Let's clarify again and reiterate it because there's so much information.
I mean, even I don't even know half the things I should probably know about healthcare because it is so vast. It is it's even people that work in healthcare. I don't, but people that work in healthcare don't even know half the things that they should probably know because it is that complicated by design. It is that messy by design. There is no one expert on all things healthcare. You can't possibly know all there is to know because there's that much to know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
A system shouldn't be that crazy where you have a whole career and you retire and you still can't even answer all the questions about your like the sector that you worked in. That's crazy to me.
Mhm.
Because
how
it's
messy
so many
it is.
different little pieces. Yeah, it's the same way that they do that with a lot of things. Like, you know, they do that with, I mean, like
Things that are-
anything that they want to confuse you with,
Yeah.
right? They sector it off. Like I've talked to military vets that were like, I didn't know I was a part of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, you know, like I
Yeah,
was doing that because I only knew this little piece of it.
Chemtrails.
I didn't realize until after that
Right.
I was the one that was doing that there, and I was a
Chemtrails,
part of
thought
that.
It was just the water from the sink. What
So
the hell?
it's, you know, like they compartmentalize it like that on purpose.
100%. They sure do.
Mhm.
But then groups like March for Medicare for All, they have educational summits where they put lots and lots of hours of work into, and get lots of people to volunteer their time to come and educate people. And then people that participate and or watch this event seem to not take away anything. And that's when it gets a little frustrating. When you put a lot of time into something and then people turn around and act like they didn't watch something, or they're ignorant to something, or you know, they're asked to clarify what they're saying and they get offended by it, or whatever it might be. That's where it gets a little frustrating. People that are supposed to be your allies in this fight don't seem to want to educate themselves, or they seem to want to kind of pretend that things aren't what they are. I don't know how many times you have to tell people certain things, like don't call something that's not Medicare for All Medicare for All.
Right.
That's a simple one.
Yeah.
There's nothing that pisses me off more than me having to go, hey, that ballot initiative is not Medicare for All. Medicare for All is a national single payer bill. There's one in the House and there's one in the Senate. And that is it. That is
It's
Medicare
an actual
for All.
legitimate thing. It's a real.
Right.
Yeah, that brand, that logo is for those bills and those bills only. And when you call anything else Medicare for All, you are confusing everyone that is supposed to be your ally in this fight.
Right.
And that's when I get pissed off.
Yeah. And
Because that is healthcare 101. If you can't get healthcare 101 right, then shut the fuck up.
Yep. That's fundamental to me, is like that is the thing. Like all these other things that you might like, this last time with that bill in Massachusetts, like that was a thing to ask for the right to fucking lobby for a thing that wasn't even Medicare for All.
Well, we should clarify what you're talking about exactly.
Okay. Well,
Just because, you know, there's been a lot of information, and it's all very compartmentalized and like kind of like sprinkled around. And so I want to make sure we're like super clear on everything.
Do you want me to screen share?
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Ricky and I are both like, yeah, we're already nodding, like, yes. Because I know that you got it. You're organized. You got it.
She's so organized.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna make sure. Okay.
How is everybody doing tonight? We got lots of people in our chat tonight.
Whoa!
good to see all you peoples.
Yeah, good to see everybody. Thank you for bearing with us.
Okay.
As we get through all this,
Doing it live,
we're
baby.
all so excited tonight.
Okay, there we go.
Everybody's all
Sorry, guys, I'm not skilled at all of this.
Don't even apologize. You're doing fantastic.
If you throw me on Zoom, I know what I'm doing, but StreamYard, I'm super new. So there's been some information shared that single payer passed in the state of Massachusetts. And I just want to be very clear that what was on the ballot in this initiative was a question. This is the Mass Care website, the organization that's been working to try since 1995 to try and get health care in the state of
That's a
Massachusetts.
long time.
It is a long time. So what is the language of the ballot initiative? So this was the question that was on the ballot for the voters in 20 districts. I did a lot of research. I'm not sure if 20 districts is the entire state of Massachusetts, or if there's, 10 districts that didn't even have this on their ballot. I tried to find it, but I wasn't able to. And that the way that they word it on here is that it passed in all the districts that the initiative was listed on. So it doesn't share like, 20 out of 40 districts or what have you.
I think that I believe that somebody, I'll have to check this. I can look I can see if I can find it. But they said that there was like 200 and something districts in Mass, and it wasn't even on everybody's ballot. There was people in Mass that were saying it was not on their ballot at all.
Yeah, I know that it was not on the ballot of some districts, but I don't know how many. I just know that this was on 20 district ballots. But the language of the question that was on the ballot is, shall the representative from this district be instructed to vote for legislation to create a single payer system of universal health care that provides all Massachusetts residents with comprehensive health care coverage, including the freedom to choose doctors and other healthcare professionals, facilities, and services, and eliminates the role of insurance companies in healthcare by creating an insurance trust fund that is publicly administered. So this passed in 20 districts, which essentially breaks down to the voters who participated in this midterm election and voted on this initiative approved that they want health care. And that's great. It is on par with what we already have known since 2017. Medicare for all is the most popular legislation in this country. And it doesn't matter where you land on the political spectrum, the majority supports this. So Republicans, Independents, Democrats, Greens, across the board, wherever you land, probably not in libertarians, but that's a different story. So it goes along with this recent Fox News exit polling. And the question that they had on this exit polling, which includes 25,894 respondents, which is a pretty large group of people who are mostly with it. There's so many questions on this exit poll, but way higher up, it's a majority of Republicans that responded to this. And it says, do you think it should be the responsibility of the federal government to make sure that all Americans have health care coverage? Or should that not be the responsibility of the federal government? 64% of the respondents voted that it should be the federal government's responsibility. Again, this is majority Republican. I also would like to mention, I didn't send myself the link for this, but the past two Congressional Budget Office reports, which both of those were majority Republican congressmen or women, they also admit that healthcare facilitated by the federal government would be cost saving to this country. So that is a conservative Congressional Budget Office report. The last two times they have released it, that is the conclusion that they have come to. So it's great that Massachusetts took 27 years to put a question on their ballot for 20 districts in that state. And we now know that those residents who had voted do approve a healthcare system. But it's kind of like we already knew that. This is really popular across the country. And it clearly states on their website that this is a non-binding ballot initiative. Legislators are not required to become co-sponsors. What does this help us do? It lets constituents know their rep is not a co-sponsor and help them take action. So they're putting the onus back on the individual constituents, which I'll tell you, in the healthcare activist sector, getting people to volunteer is really hard. A lot of people support this. They just don't have time to volunteer. And so what I foresee happening here in Massachusetts, because now this goes to the next step, they're going to need to, gather signatures to have like a real vote put on their ballot. And that's something that they're doing right now in Washington State. An organization that is advocating for state-based enhanced healthcare. They are gathering signatures right now. They started their campaign in April of this year. I think around the 15th, and their deadline to gather 400,000 signatures is this December on the 20th. And they're currently just over 75,000 signatures gathered. And so it is
Holy
incredibly
shit, that's a
challenging.
lot more
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. So it's incredibly challenging to get people to participate, because I think one of the reasons is it's the federal government's responsibility, and people know that. So they're not willing to put a lot of energy into something that is just going to be for one state. And I'll tell you, I'll be honest, I previously supported the state by state approach to achieving healthcare, but because I'm born and raised in Oregon, I moved to Washington. I've done a lot of volunteer work in both states. Pretty much all of my family is still in Oregon. And I really had kind of a, for lack of a better term, come to God moment after I started organizing with March for Medicare for All, because I attended an Oregon Health Authority webinar, and they clearly laid out that the state of Oregon would not be able to provide all of their residents with enhanced health care.
Yeah.
And so here I was advocating for something that only I would have access to in Washington state, but not my family in the state of Oregon. And it just really didn't sit right with me, because healthcare, everyone deserves it. We all know that. And so I just kind of wanted to get, Ricky and Lucky and Stever, your opinions on this ballot initiative, and then also that Fox News exit polling, and your thoughts on all of this.
I think that, I mean, they kind of told us what we already knew with this ballot initiative. I mean, it's something that I know that most, the majority of people in the United States do support this, and people want health care. And especially during this time that we've been going through all this health crisis, no matter, what your viewpoint is on, C-19. We know people need healthcare, and I think it's brought a bigger spotlight to that, and it's brought attention to it. I think it's good because it brings attention to the issue, and but I think that what I saw from my quick search was that you were right. I think it's 40 districts that they have in Mass. But that could be wrong. I just did a quick, search of that. But so they only asked, like, if it is in fact that's only half of the people there. So I mean, it's only half of the population sample
of the voting population. We have
voting,
to be very
and
specific
it's not
about
including, it's not including everybody. That's like really how small the population is that compared to the state, and I mean, it also is creating a lot of confusion for people, because people thought that Mass got healthcare passed. I thought it at first when I first saw, I was like, whoa, what? And I was like, I mean, I immediately went to, oh my gosh, I'm in Connecticut. I'm right below Mass. If they did that there, then holy shit, maybe this is the starting of something, for a brief second before I had all the information, I was really, really excited.
Yeah. Most people who heard it and just got that first glimpse of it, like, oh, what? That's awesome. For a second, like, people in the know were probably like, no.
And it's very anticlimactic to just it feels like it went, wah, wah, wah. You know what I mean? It was like, damn it. It just feels like it's a step backwards almost, because it's going to make people excited for something that it's not even that what it is. I mean, in some ways it's a step in the right direction, but also at the same time, it feels like it's a step backwards at the same time. Like, are we really moving forward with this?
I don't even know if I would want to call it like a full step, though.
Yeah,
because this is like you dipped your toe in an ocean. It's not a step. And I'll tell you, myself and other organizers at March for Medicare for All, we got messages from people like, what's going on in Mass? They have healthcare now?
Right.
There's only 49 states to go. And it's like, what? Wait, what? Let me Let me do some research and get back to you.
It's like a micro progression, you know.
Yeah.
That, like, oh, it seemed like for a second there might be just kidding.
Yeah, it kind of like, it feels like they gave you, you know what I mean? Like you were presented with something and it really wasn't that. So
and I think it's a
feels
shame,
like a bad trick or something.
I feel like it's a shame that like confronting the fact that you know, the information was out there for a second without like all the information being available on the same tweet, and then Sabby caught a bunch of crap for posting that because she didn't like follow up and be like, oh, and by the way, this, you know, when people asked her, she like got defensive and got all
you're talking about one
out.
tweet. Yeah, there was a tweet on Twitter that
it was just kind of weird that it played
well,
out
a lot
that
of people
way.
a lot of people like just thought they they misunderstood
That's
what that
I
meant.
mean, why it was like silly to me. Like, why don't get so upset? Like, people make, you know, goof on things all the time. It's not a big deal, you know. You just say the thing.
Well,
like,
and we know that
she had been talking about it for weeks or so. I didn't know that. I don't watch her show all the time, so you know, the people who didn't watch her show didn't know that.
I wasn't informed.
And
I live right below Massachusetts, like, and I didn't know that was a thing. And when I saw it, I thought that, you know, it's just
for a shining, glimmering moment.
Yeah.
Seemed like,
well, and see, that's the thing, is that we live in a day and age where people just take the headline and run with it.
Exactly.
And so it's really unfortunate because I saw that and there were so many quote tweets about just celebrating that Massachusetts had healthcare now. And it just,
that's why the clarification of it and doing this podcast,
just correct the record. Yeah.
It's just to correct it and just to make sure people are aware. Like, it's not for spite or any kind of ill gains. It's like, okay, so that was a goof, and so here we're fixing it now. The point is, here's that policy. You know, you guys.
I mean, even JB, like on his stream, I looked into it. Like, he had just seen the tweet on Twitter, so he was excited about it. He's like, yay, Massachusetts. And I felt really bad having to say, and like in the chat, like, that's not, it was only 20 districts, and like I felt like I was like popping a kid's balloon or taking their candy away. You know what I mean? It just felt like really like, I don't want to be the bearer of the bad news, but that's not what this is, you know.
The thing is, for years, single payer healthcare, national single payer healthcare, has had the majority of the population support for years. Going back to 2016, they did polls when Bernie was hot back in 2015, 2016. The majority of the country.
That's probably why he was.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big part of it, right? Medicare for all was his like number one thing that he ran on, really, in 2016.
That was it. That was like
brought a lot of people together too.
Right. You know, independents and Democrats and even Republicans were like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we could do that.
He was the most popular candidate in the country. He was he was screwed out of his nomination. I mean, that was obvious. Democrats literally admitted it in court that they can rig their own primaries because they're a private entity. It was admitted in court. Sorry, it's over. So you have no democracy. So let's get past that, folks. But like that's what Bernie ran on. We've known for a long time. So when I see when I see like a temperature check on a ballot, it's almost condescending, almost like a slap in the face. It's like it's done been popular. Yeah, it's done been popular, folks. We already have massive. We have hundreds of millions of people that want healthcare. So you put this shit on a ballot and then people vote for it. It's like, okay, I could have Googled it. I don't need you to put it on a ballot to tell me that people in Massachusetts want healthcare. We know that. Right. Get out of here. This kind of stunt, whatever this is, some kind of PR stunt for the Democrats, or I don't know what it is. Whatever this stunt is, this ballot bullshit, it literally hurts, not helps us get healthcare. Because look what it's doing. Like, nothing.
Well, and then that just kind of leads into the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid expansion is the example we have for why fighting for enhanced healthcare in a single state or a few states is not the way to go. Because on this graphic here, this is the National Conference of State Legislatures. And this is from October 14th, 2021, so fairly recent. And I know that there have been some changes. For example, like South Dakota just added something to their ballots for this election. So they've not enacted anything. But there's the currently not expanded states are these darker teal or green. I'm not sure what color it comes through on your screen. But these are the states that will never be able to achieve state-based healthcare.
Because they can't
won't.
afford it? Is that
Well,
what it is?
not only that they can't afford it, but they don't even have the option of doing a ballot initiative.
Oh yeah, we don't in Connecticut. I've never seen a ballot initiative here. Like
these states right here, this is Ballotpedia, and these states right here that are gray, or maybe tan, again, I'm not sure what color it comes through on your screen, they don't have the option of doing an initiative or a referendum. They just don't. They don't have direct democracy.
Look at how much of the country that is.
I know. And so essentially, when we have these liberal states like California and Washington and New York and Vermont and apparently now going on Massachusetts, trying to fight so hard at achieving state-based enhanced healthcare, it's really just a big fuck you to the parts of this country that will never have that option.
Right.
And it doesn't sit right with me. Like, I'm not okay with that. You know, especially we've seen throughout the years it getting worse, but a lot of people are like, when they removed abortion, they voted on abortion legislation down in the South. A lot of hateful people are coming out, well, you shouldn't live in the South. What? So you just expect people who may potentially in their lifetime need to get an abortion to move to a different state that has that access? And I'll tell you that if that's the plan you have in your mind with enacting state-based enhanced healthcare, then that state will not be able to continue that program. And one of the arguments that I received over the weekend when I was disputing the misinformation that was sent out is that when Massachusetts enacts healthcare, then the surrounding states, their residents will be able to travel to Massachusetts and use that healthcare. I can't imagine a faster way to tank a new system than opening it up to residents outside of the state where the taxes are being paid towards that trust fund.
Everyone would flock to that state.
Healthcare? Exactly. You think that everyone from this area wouldn't move to Massachusetts?
Every sick person would literally move there.
It's an hour.
Walk there. I would.
45 minutes? An hour? Yeah, I'll move. Bye, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Well, and then that's the other thing is that it allows these corporations that don't want to pay like a capital gains, or the wealthy who don't want to pay their fair share to contribute to this, the opportunity for them, because they can afford to leave that state. When you have a national healthcare system, they have nowhere to run.
It's everywhere.
So when Boeing in Washington state doesn't want to pay any sort of capital gains, and the wealthy people who work, the CEOs at Boeing don't want to pay that either, then they can just pick up and go. We can't afford that. Poor people can't afford to do that.
Right.
Like, this is they're not comprehending this, and they say, "Oh, well, that's just a Republican talking point." No. Your strategy is a neoliberal plot to destroy national health care, but they don't want to hear that. They're not ready to recognize that. And it was a hard pill to swallow for me because I was fighting for state by state. And then I learned more.
It's kind of like, you would have healthcare refugees from every other state. Like, you would have the sickest people would be like, I'll figure out, I'll make a GoFundMe so I can move to that state to get their health care. Because that's what would happen.
Thousands of people there'd be an influx of thousands of people into the state, and there would be an influx of thousands of jobs leaving that state. You'd have this going on.
Oh my God. Literally, it would be a mess.
The entire economy of that state would collapse. That's economics 101, period.
Yeah, that is turning what they say, quote unquote, single payer in that state-based enhanced plan to 7 million payer or how many the population is, they're going to put that burden back on. It's going to become another tax for the poor to cover healthcare for the poor. And that's not okay. It just isn't. It needs to be covered by the federal government. They are able to budget and increase the debt ceiling and continue funding the military at a blink of an eye. They sign bills for that while they're sleeping. They can fund healthcare in this country.
That's right. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's not single payer. And I'm really, another thing that really pisses me off is when people that push these state ballots, these ballot initiatives, and they've been told, they keep calling it single payer healthcare. It's not single payer. When you have to tax Jim and Bob and Suzanne, and you have to tax corporations, and you might still have to go to the government to get a waiver. Like this is multi-payer. This is a multi-payer system. That's what that is called. Quit calling it single payer. It's almost as if there's like a couple of ops in the activist community, and then all these other like indie media kind of like activists that are kind of on the fringe just kind of like regurgitate these talking points. I don't know if there are actual ops, but it's really starting to it makes me feel like there are ops in the healthcare activist community that are pushing for state shit or giving people lucrative jobs to push for state shit. And they keep calling state ballot initiatives Medicare for all or single payer, and it is none of the above. Mm-hmm. And it really, and half the country, no, more than half the country, 90% of this country has no idea what the difference is. Maybe more than 90%.
No,
so like,
they don't.
So when you're conflating everything, you're never going to get, you're never going to get people on the same page. And we need people on the same page to push for national. If we had a real national push, that's what March for Medicare for All was all about, was bringing people from across the country together to push for one thing. And guess what? All these activists, like, these fucking batshit crazy people like Betty Dumas Toto came in and was like, no, we're going to make it about the state ballot in California. Oh yeah, let's do states and all this stuff. And that literally destroys the national movement. That is what state ballot initiatives are designed to do. That is why neoliberals support state ballot initiatives, is because it destroys the national movement. Because if there was a huge national push, they would have to give us health care. They would have to give us health care.
I mean, can you imagine if California did? California can't handle the fact that there's people living under every bridge, and there's Skid Row that is expanding, you know, like, and the houseless population is just ever expanding. They can't get that under control. They can't help the people that need help now. Can you imagine if they passed healthcare?
Because it's a greedy, very greedy
the whole state would completely collapse.
Absolutely.
And that's the fifth largest economy. That's the fifth largest economy.
They'll never pass healthcare in California, though. They won't. Gavin Newsom just got reelected. He's Nancy Pelosi's nephew.
Yeah, they're not.
You need to tell me that with AB 1400, the most recent bill down in California, it was an assembly bill for CalCare, which is, you know, state-based enhanced healthcare, and it was co-authored by Ash Kalra, who did not even bring it to the floor for a vote in a Democratic supermajority of California. He pulled it before there was a vote, and you're going to tell me that it's going to be different in Washington State or it's going to be different in Massachusetts? It's not.
These are the people
about their careers. They got a phone call or a text that said, pull it, or you're done.
Yeah, if you buy that it's going to be different in any other state, you're going to vote for Bernie Sanders in 2024.
Yep.
Like, shut up.
Seriously.
Like, it's time to stop being so naive and put on your big boy, big girl pants and, like, let's move on. As long as this is happening, I have no faith that we're going to get healthcare in my lifetime. As long as people are literally falling for Nancy Pelosi's tricks.
Exactly.
Yeah, like she's the one who.
How do you not see that? How do you not understand that?
She ran on Medicare for all. Nancy Pelosi did.
Congress.
She was the progressive. So we need to make sure people understand that.
They were just like, well, it worked 30 years ago. Let's do it again.
They just, because people are not retaining the information. That's why we have to keep like clarifying and doing clarification streams.
We'll get them in there, no problem.
Because they just they just, you know, they do this and they confuse the hell out of people.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets to recycle her fucking bullshit, and we get nowhere because we're just recycling the same fucking bullshit, thinking it's a new fucking thing. It's a new, oh my gosh, yeah. No, they're like, oh, we're gonna throw Bernie in there. You know, he's done some cool stuff when he was younger. They'll gravitate to that. Okay, now we're gonna use this one. We gotta start recognizing these operatives before they become somebody that we trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is why companies rebrand. Like, if a company does something silly, foolish, they just rebrand, and everyone's like, "Oh, they must be better now. They must be different." Like, and we fall for it. It's like, it's bad, guys. It's really bad. It's making us look very foolish.
Mm-hmm.
It is. We need to get our fucking shit together.
Yeah.
And
As a population.
It just really confuses me. You know, people who talk about how we need a radical revolution and that we need to change the system, but yet they're perpetuating a neoliberal strategy for breadcrumbs that will never happen. It's really just a carrot that's dangling out there that's giving people hope. And the thing that's the most frustrating about it is that there's some really great people who volunteer and put in a ton of work with these organizations that are fighting for state-based enhanced healthcare. And it really breaks my heart that their time and energy and resources are being used for something that's never going to happen and is just wasting every effort that they're putting into it when it could be utilized towards national.
Yeah, like we just need to get you want everybody on the same page, and then we have like all these other people, like just, you know, but this. Oh, but we can all work towards it at the same time. But it's like, no, because
that doesn't make any logical sense, because, you know, aside from these legacy organizations that have been around for decades and keep taking your money and pretending like they're advocating for healthcare, these newer organizations that have come out, they are, you know, as Ricky said, I think they're led by ops too. Really, the language they use, they finesse you, they coax you in, they give you compliments, they make you feel comfortable, they make you feel confident, and then you do anything for them. And it breaks my heart, because I've met really great people. And I'm saying this from experience. I'm not just talking out of my ass right now. I've actually worked with activists in the state-based enhanced healthcare organizations like Whole Washington and CalCare. I have direct experience with these people, and they are not good people. The ones who are at the top and leading this and, you know, barking orders at the people who are putting in all of these hours, it just, I have a lot of receipts and I've been holding on to them for a really long time. So I don't know when I'll drop them, but I have a lot of information about a lot of these people, and they're just not good people. And it really is frustrating when I see, you know, indie media that should be very well versed in researching things before presenting them, out here promoting these organizations, giving them an opportunity to kind of indoctrinate others and bring them into the fold. And it just,
it's these cult-like fractions I keep talking about.
Yeah,
it's almost like a cult-like fraction.
Yeah, just dividing us further.
Yep.
It is. And it's really, it's really alarming, because although we will absolutely love everybody that comes here and we're very inclusive here, I also expect people to not replace my opinion with their own. And I say, please do your own research. Like, you know, don't take, you know, my exact word for anything, you know what I mean? Because I'm a human and I can be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And like, use your critical thinking skills. If something doesn't seem right, let's talk about it. You know, that's the way that it should be. It should be encouraged that we challenge each other. It should be encouraged that we use our critical thinking skills.
It's really,
and if anybody's asking you not to think for yourself and not use your critical thinking skills with things, then that is a red flag. And I'm going to say that right there. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I told you so. I told you so. No, I'm going to tell you, this is what I know. This is the evidence that I have. This is why I feel that way. My opinions are based in fact, but use your own critical thinking skills, please. Always.
Right.
If you don't agree with something or you think we got something wrong here, let us know.
I think the fact is that people are much quicker to just say fuck you and just move on and just shut it down and walk away. You know what I mean? Just set fire and just walk away. They just don't give a fuck.
That's the goal for the people at the top.
It seems to be. I mean, that's ultimately what they need, is for more of that and less of this, you know. They don't want people talking about things. They don't want people to understand the nuance of the differences in policy and the name games that they play, or all of those aspects of it. Yeah. But it's just a shame to me to see, like, you know, having been blocked over this stupidity, like, what the fuck, man? You can't just have a conversation with a person. It's like, are we grown-ups or not?
We're not. But it's because we've allowed the powers that be, the feds, basically, to infiltrate every part of our life, and we don't even know it because we're so plugged in, we're so attached to the TV or social media or whatever it might be that is propagandizing all of us. Yes. I mean, we have ops that literally infiltrate all of our activist groups. We have saboteurs that infiltrate all of our protests, you know. Like,
can you see this comment?
We literally have false flag events happening all across the country, and people don't even know they're false flag events. And if you even question those events, then you're some kind of conspiracy theorist, crazy person.
You're a fucking extremist, Ricky.
Yeah, because everyone's a mass shooter in America now. Even though like the news will make you think your neighbor is going to kill you because
you have a BB gun in your closet, don't you? You're going to go on a killing spree.
You're probably pledging allegiance to ISIS right now.
That's like
that is what the media is putting into your brain, and people buy it. Hook, line, and sinker every time.
The fear is palpable in this country. Like, people just can get tweaked off at so many different levels, and the weird other thing about it is, like, the fear is like a form of pornography. And violence in cinema and stuff is like a kind of porn. It's like, it's violence porn, you know, and like people get desensitized to that and shit. And that's why shit jumps off in real life much quicker than it ever did before, because people just don't have any repercussions about fucking pulling out a gun and shooting somebody, because like, I saw it on the video game for fucking 12 years since I was a little guy. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, I got to say something real quick.
It seems like, to me, it's like a desensitization to violence.
So I got a text. I just saw it that Drew sent me, that Savage Joy is,
of course,
here. So Savage Joy, I sent you on from Steve's Twitter.
I'll forward the link via email too.
Okay, that's good. Whatever works best. Sorry, I just wanted to, like, you know, put that out there so she doesn't think we were ignoring her. I'm so far behind on the chat. I'm trying to, like, you know, slowly keep up, but
I can't even look at that chat. It's so distracting to me when I'm on here, because I'm so new to this. I really can't pay attention.
It's hard to pay attention about. So, like, I try to, you know what I mean, as much as I can. I kind of, like, scan through a little bit, and then I saw this comment, and so I'm glad that we're really covering this tonight, because Bad Cookie said, I thought that the ballot initiative was actually voting to get Medicare for all. Roger Meadows wasn't fully upfront about that ballot initiative. So, well, I'm glad that you're here and that you're getting the clarification to what really is happening. So I think that that's, you know, important for you to have that information.
I have things to say about Roger Meadows, but
Sam.
Savage.
Look at that.
He's the one who's out there super chatting all of these indie media, people, and then all of a sudden they started pushing state by state as well. Many of whom were present at March Medicare for All, July 24th, 2021, at various locations across the country. And then just rapidly after that started pushing state by state. So I don't know who he is. I'm not sure what his background is. But all I've seen is him super chatting and donating a lot of money to these indie media podcasters.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about him either. That's all I really know is that he does push a lot of ballot initiatives.
Yeah, he's one of the largest proponents pushing ballot initiatives, which are great in other facets, but not for healthcare. And I would say not for housing and not for student debt and, so many other things, because there's people that are suffering all across this country. In fact, I actually have this site up, and this is my last screen share that I'll do while we wait for Savage to join us.
Yeah, she's
I'm here.
Oh, you are?
Oh, you are here.
Yeah,
we just don't see you.
I'm just not on camera. I'm a fucking mess.
Your
so.
totes fine.
I know. Look at we got vegan on camera and you off camera. What is happening?
Oh God. So this is a website, Real Progressives. It's an organization that fight for progressive policy, for educating people on things, and they're amazing in activism in all sorts of facets, like different sectors, not just in healthcare. And this particular page was put together by one of their volunteers, Jules. She's amazing. She also helps us at March Medicare for All because she knows like web stuff and techie stuff, and I'm not that great at it. So I just kind of wanted to let people know that this is a thing. You can go to their website, realprogressives.org. This is a map. It's called the Race to the Bottom. And you just hover over the states and you can see like how much money they have. So for example, Texas, their homeless population is over 25,000, almost 26. Pensions funded, they are in the red at 70%. Their rainy day fund is about 60 days. And that means that in case of an emergency for that state, how much money do they have cash on hand to be able to manage continuing their state needs without having to make cuts to the state? And so over here in Massachusetts is, oh gosh, it's so small. My mouse keeps, okay, I'm not going to touch it.
I know. We're like the second tiniest. We're right next to Rhode Island. So like we're super tiny on that map.
In Massachusetts, they have a homeless population of 18,471. Their pensions are funded in the red at 60%, and their rainy day fund is only 37.8 days. So they actually have less cash on hand in the state of Massachusetts than they do in the state of Texas.
And wait, what was the homeless population compared to Texas?
Texas is almost 26,000.
And how much is Massachusetts? And look at the size of the state.
It's 18,471. So
that's a high number for
being
a really small state. You think about the size difference?
It's a densely populated state.
It is
not as populated as Texas, but it is densely populated.
But I mean, Texas is more like it's more like weather friendly. Like if you're going to be without a house, especially in the winter,
minus all the hurricanes.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, but I mean, compared to Massachusetts, typically, what you know what I mean, in our area, the weather here is just outrageously like you don't want to be in the summer. You don't want to be outside, and in the winter, you don't want. You know what I mean? Like it's both extremes weather. So that's why a lot of people more so, at least in the houseless population, they usually go towards California and stuff because the weather's nicer. I would say that Texas is probably a lot nicer weather-wise than Massachusetts. And look at the size difference. You know what I mean? Like that's a big difference.
There's another I forgot to add this to my thing. I looked up some statistics for the state of Massachusetts as well from the census, because there was just the census in 2020. And so they have a population it's showing based off of April 2020, just over 7,000, but it looks like for the census, they actually ended up with a population of 6,984,723. So just almost 7 million residents in that state. Now, of this population, 79.8% of them recognize themselves as being white. And that's another thing that plays into this whole state-by-state approach. All of the states that are looking to achieve state-based enhanced healthcare are majority white states.
Washington State, 4% Black.
Mhm.
Median income, 77,000. What did we find mass income is? Like 87,000?
It's 84. Their median income is 84,385. So they're actually wealthier than the state of Washington with a median income. And they have a poverty rate of 10.4% in the state of Massachusetts. So it really, it would help people if they, were able to get state-based enhanced healthcare. But it's not going to help a lot of the people who really, really need it across the country because it's just going to be in one state. Allegedly, they claim that they will treat residents from surrounding states, but I just don't see how that
No.
would work or function logically, financially, any way. It would be an insane
No, like I said, I'm
stress on the system itself, like the healthcare
45 minutes to an hour. Like that's north of me.
There's,
you know what I mean? Like it would be easier for me to go to Massachusetts than some parts of Connecticut.
Yeah, there's over 20 million people in the New York City tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Imagine all the sick people just driving 4 hours to Massachusetts from New York.
Mhm.
Get out of here. It's not even
it would be insane.
It's a horrible script. It's fucking like the 6th Sharknado. Like, get out of here. It's just stupid. Like, come on.
They would be like, no, we don't want your medical refugees. Like it would be a thing. It would.
They become a sanctuary state or not, wouldn't they? They'd have to make that very clear.
People would just be like, fine, I'll be houseless here. I'll live in my vehicle and get healthcare. Like they would see an influx of everybody going there.
If you
like
have
RVs would pull up like
something,
crazy.
you could have your healthcare paid for.
You would see
do it.
You would see like GoFundMe's literally for people to have, you know what I mean? Like to relocate.
Yeah.
Like help me relocate so I can have health insurance. I mean, like, wouldn't that be something that if that was an option, wouldn't you examine that? Like, okay, well, if I can have health care, I mean, gosh, I would save all kinds of money.
Well, you see people, I mean, what about mothers who move their kids across the country so they can legally smoke cannabis? I mean, if you're a cancer patient and you have no health insurance or health care, and it's going to save you $30,000 a month, you're gonna fucking move. I don't care if you're in California and the state by state shit's in Maine. It could be as far away as possible, but I'm damned if you're not going to move so that you can try and save your life.
Yeah. Yeah, people, I mean, like, people are desperate to save, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're desperate to save their lives, desperate to have healthcare. They'll go to any measure. And then imagine the overcrowding of that. Then there would be no hospitals. There would be no hospital beds for anybody because there would be it would be taken up by everybody.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, that's why I wanted to share, all of these websites. If you guys want me to, I'll pop them or have someone pop them into the chat. I don't know how to do that from StreamYard. But I just wanted to share why doing this incremental approach of state by state is not the answer, because this is a systemic issue. It's not going to be solved by 1 or 2 states or 3 states if you live in a fucking imagination world and think that that's actually going to happen.
There's
It's
only
not
6
going to
states
solve
that
the
can
problem.
afford it. Like California, Washington, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Name one other state. Maybe Texas, Florida. No, not Florida, because it's all seniors. It would bankrupt them. So there's very few states that can actually afford to do it to begin with. Continue. Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. I just wanted to share that, and these are the reasons why.
That's real, factual, alarming numbers.
This is the reason why I no longer fight for state-based enhanced healthcare, because it's not going to achieve what we need. It does not meet the moment that we are in. We don't even know what's coming down the pike for the next pandemic, and we still don't have healthcare. We know that if we had enacted a national system prior to COVID, it would have saved over a third of lives. And this is with a system that had 68,000 deaths a year before COVID. So, it's just, I get that people are very passionate and they want to fight for healthcare, but I think that going about it through the states is not the right way to do it. And when I say that, I'm absolutely lambasted by those activists, because then I'm called a murderer, because I don't want just one state to have healthcare. I want everyone to have healthcare. So I'm murdering people in the state that don't have the state-based enhanced healthcare, but it doesn't even exist yet. So this is a premeditated murder, I guess.
I mean, like, so I think about Connecticut. We're like we are a very small state, but
Rich.
and yes, not all of the state.
What's our medium income here?
No, but your
Like-
median income is good.
But that's
It's like
closer
90
to
something, I
that's
think.
closer to where we touch New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
like it in our area, we're in southeastern Connecticut.
Yeah, people
This
are
is
fucking
the
poor around
this is
here.
the poor area. Like, and there's still rich areas in this state, but there is a lot of poverty in this state. Just because the state's rich doesn't mean anything. Because a lot of people live here, but they go to New York, or they drive across the border to Mass, or you know what I mean. Like, we're a hop through state there, and we have like we're like the insurance capital, like health insurance capital. Like, they're all here. Like, we have travelers insurance, like huge like things. We have all the different Aetna and all the different places. Pfizer. I went to Pfizer when I moved here when I was at the end of 7th grade. So like 8th grade, I think it was 8th grade, because it was in middle school. I'm pretty sure we went to a Pfizer research place, because they are throughout the state. We went there on a field trip to Pfizer. Okay. Like the hell. And we don't have free healthcare. You know, like, people are like, oh, well, there's like the Connecticut, the Husky Care, which is like means tested, right? So you have to make under a certain amount. And on top of it, it's not just because you make under a certain amount that it's free for you. If you get in a car accident and you get a settlement, you win, like, you get like a lottery, or like, I don't know all the different requirements and stuff, but like, if something happens where you get a lump sum of money, they're going to come and take like up to half of that from you.
Yep.
You're running a tab with the
income.
state. You're not getting free healthcare just because you're under a certain income.
Right.
You are running a freaking tab with the state, and people don't know that.
Yep. Wow, you went to Pfizer on a field trip.
Yeah.
That is horrible. That
I
is
bet they
actually
don't give those anymore.
It's like a bad,
I don't know if they still do
like a
that.
bad after
But
school special. or something
not with the
waiting
stuff
to
they're
happen.
doing behind the scenes. I bet
Right.
they don't do field trips.
Pfizer in Groton is right across from like a housing project, and right next to like the military bases right there.
That's so creepy. And in elementary school, I toured the Jiffy Mix factory in Michigan.
Nice.
So
We
very
went to the-
different.
We went to the Eclipse coffee syrup factory in Warwick when I was in grade school.
There
And you know
go.
what's weird though? That Groton is like, the Groton sub base is where Pasta from the Combo Couch. So he was stationed at that base he was in the Navy during the time that I was a military brat and hanging out on that Groton base.
She may have went to
Wow.
a party.
That's
we
so
were
crazy.
in the same like area, like like I broke into barracks, and he's talking about girls breaking in the barracks, and I'm like, hey, I never dated the Navy guys. Like, I know that, like, we might have crossed paths, but it would not be because of that.
Oh, wow.
And my friends did. But yeah, it's a small world. Like, when you look at it, it's like, wait, really? We found this out the other day, like when Pasta came on the stream.
Jason Rodriguez.
I was like, wow, really? Like, that's like crazy.
I was wondering where you went, Savage.
Sorry, I figured I'd switch to my actual pewter so that I could like not just highlight my forehead. I mean, it's a nice
lovely
forehead.
Yeah,
but
it really is a beautiful forehead.
It really is.
Great.
The lighting is just perfect for it.
So I posted earlier today, I posted what I thought was a really good post. I posted, it was something here, let me pull it up. It was what I thought made a lot of sense. Let me see. Actually, it's
Stop making sense. Healthcare and sense? Why would you do that?
yeah, that's true, unfortunately.
I know, it was you guys that changed my mind. Remember, Joy, there was a point in time where we were like, wait, we want to help you and we want to like work with you guys for doing healthcare stuff. And she was like, well, I thought you guys weren't for like, I was like, no, it was you guys that changed our mind that made us realize that no, not only is Medicare for all something that is viable, that state by state is not an option. You guys changed my mind on that, like completely.
Thank
because
you.
it I want to give you guys that credit because I believe like the way that it is spoken about and the other way, like, oh, well, if one, and that's why, like, even my brain triggered back to when I saw the mass care thing. I was like, wow, well, if they did do that, if they passed that, like, maybe we really go, oh my God, it triggered all those old things in my head. And I recognized that. And I'm like, holy fuck, what the hell? Like, it's like programmed, you know what I mean? Like, because you want to have hope that it can happen. Like, it's like, oh, wait, really? Like, did this really happen? And so it brought all that back up for me. Like, I was like, wow, I really felt for a second, but knowing, who I am now, I went through and was like, all right, wait a minute. This seems too good to be true.
Remember
with the interwebs, people just hit share. That's the problem. When you post something, breaking news, and word it incorrectly, and it's shared a bunch of times, that is when we have to take responsibility and say, you know what? My bad. I fucked up. I worded it incorrectly. I was typing fast, whatever. We're human.
Just add context.
We wouldn't have been mad about that.
No.
So
no, we encourage that.
I actually respect that more. Like, correcting the record, I have much more respect for that.
Yes, because it's honest.
I've been on the air for over 5 years. Do you really think I haven't ever had to step back and say, you know what? I said on last night's show, blah, 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 but I was now presented with new information that XYZ. Guess what? Swallow your ego. Acknowledge you made a mistake. It's that simple. You made a mistake.
Or you were creating clickbait. I'm just saying. It's either one or the other.
Happened. I mean, we're giving you the benefit of the doubt that it was just a mistake.
I know, like, I
was like, I live in reality, bitches.
I do. It's one or the other.
I just don't feel it's right to deflect and get mad at people who are just pointing out, please delete this because it's wrong. That's the thing, because people see that headline breaking news. Oh my God, we're getting single payer. Oh my God, one state.
Well, I knew it for a second, but I didn't. I was like, wait a minute, let me look into this a little bit further.
Yeah.
And the fact that someone else from the exact channel.
Yeah, I had to tell him.
Oh, shit.
I had to tell him. I had to tell JB while he was talking about it live, like on stream, and his face, like, I felt bad. Like, I felt like I was taking the kid's candy away. You know what I mean? Like a little kid's candy and making him cry. Like, it was just like, damn, I don't want to be the bearer of the bad news.
It doesn't matter if you like a person. It doesn't matter if you like their show. I don't fucking care. That's irrelevant. We should hold people accountable. If you fuck up, say you fucked up, post the correction, end of story.
Period. It's that simple. It's done in a minute. Boom, it's over. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is,
respect.
it's when it keeps going and going and going and going, that is where it only takes one person to post something and have it spread like wildfire. And now people still think mass pass. They still think it from one tweet. That is a problem. And we're always talking about holding politicians accountable. We should hold YouTubers accountable as well.
Yep.
I've had it happen to me. I'll be I'm surprised if any YouTuber out there could say they've never had to walk something back. But I'll tell you one thing. There have been YouTubers who have said absolutely incorrect things about Medicare for all. And I'm not talking about who I'm talking about now. I'm talking about in the past. And I have DM'd them correct information, and they have blatantly refused to acknowledge the information I've sent them, which was completely opposite of what they were saying. So there are people who will not take accountability. And it's sad because, yeah, they may be people you like. They may be people who you like their show. They may be people you subscribe to, donate to, whatever. That doesn't mean they can't be wrong. That doesn't mean they can't make a mistake.
We're humans.
It's okay to say, you fucked up. This post was wrong. Correct it. Delete it. It's okay to say that. But people aren't. There's a hero worship. And it's like, it's so frustrating to someone, you know, to those of us who live, breathe, die. National Approved Medicare for All. Like, this is our life. And to see something like this happen and to see it be blatantly misleading information and to see it just retweet. And it's like no accountability. That is so upsetting. I cannot even tell you. Yeah. So, I mean, it counteracts the panels we've had, the discussions we've had, the education we've given. It counteracts all of that because it's like, see, it can happen. Come on, you guys. Let's wait another 50 years till more stays happen. Come on. It's not like people are dying. Come on. And the thing that is frustrating, though, in all fairness, the post said in the screenshot, question passes. The screenshot said that.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't look at that part, but it did say it. So that's what I noticed right away. But then again, this is what we do all the time. So we
spot things that others don't.
Yeah.
And we don't just take things and say, oh, let me read a headline and run with it. We're like, no, we have to read all of it.
Presumptuous that people saw our show where we broke it down. We can't be presumptuous. Not everybody watches our shows. It's just so disappointing, and it's frustrating that we cannot hold someone accountable. And it's just, and it's someone who has been an ally to us in the past. I think that's what's upsetting also. This is someone who has spoken at our rally and things like that. And I think it's just upsetting that, something like this, which we once agreed on, and is now like, fuck you. You know what I mean? So it's daunting, and I'm gonna be 100% straight up. And I'm real, but I don't usually get this real. Past 3 days, I have been so fucking depressed. I logged off for 48 hours or maybe 3 days because these tweets were depressing me so fucking bad, because I saw our work diminishing tweet after tweet. I saw our education that we have put blood, sweat, and tears into diminishing with each share. People who I have talked to, explained why we need to fight for national, now sharing. It passed in Massachusetts.
Right.
Yep.
People need to think about what that feels like to organizers who do this shit 24/7. It fucking kills you. It hurts like hell because now you're seeing every single thing. You are seeing it completely regress. You are seeing, what the fuck was the point of all of our panels? What the fuck is the point of all of our actions? What the fuck is the point of all of our work when one tweet has just counteracted so much? And we as human beings, we as public figures, we as whatever you want to say, have to be able to hold ourselves accountable just to say, you know what, I fucked up. And I'm going to tell you something else. Oh, here, I'll read the tweet that I was going to get to. I have a great idea for student loans. We'll pass it state by state. It may fail at least 7 times, but doesn't it make you feel excited that it may come to your state in the future? Oh, you'll still acquire debt in the meantime, and you're in a red state? Sorry, fuck you. And I mean, how is that wrong? Everyone in the comments knows I'm talking about healthcare, but do you see how silly that sounds? You're really going to be happy if one state does student loan debt forgiveness? Can you imagine the outrage? The outrage of people. Why them, not us? Well, you know what? I talk to hundreds of people. I get DMs every fucking day with people telling me their heartbreaking stories, and none of them live in Washington, New York, California, or any of these fucking places. They all live in deep red or states without ballot initiatives and shit like that. And I have to try to fucking comfort them. And I will be fucking damned if I sit here and only fight for myself. Because don't say you're about progress when you are talking about these arbitrary lines and this incrementalism. Don't tell me it's not incrementalist when it's 1 out of 50. That is the epitome of incrementalism. So no, that is not progression. That is regression. That is inequity right there. That is, you are exclusionary. You deserve this. You don't. And while you people are getting your health care, fuck all y'all poors in all your other states, because you are maybe in the future. How much time do you have? How many people are we going to bury while we try state by state? That's one of the problems, is because they need to talk to people who are suffering. They need to talk to people who are suffering in these states who don't even have ballot initiatives. They don't. So they think, oh yeah, state by state. Do you have insurance? You do, right? Yep. Do you have people in your household or in your direct circles who have thousands in medical debt? You don't? Shocker. Start talking to some of the people we talk to. Start hearing their stories. Start watching them fucking pull their eyes out because they can't afford to go to the doctor. And then tell me how that they should feel happy because somewhere across the fucking world that they've never been to is fighting for themselves. Why don't they feel happy about that?
Yeah.
They should feel all warm inside because you guys are fighting for yourselves in a state they've never been to. There is so much ableism.
Not to mention the fact that the people that are fighting have health care. And we're giving them all the money. Yeah, they do. And that's absolutely 100% on point, Joy. And I agree with you completely. The idea is that basically the further away from something you get, the more out of touch you are. And it just seems like everybody crying for state by state isn't really affected. They're insulated by it somehow. And they're the ones screaming the loudest.
Yeah, people in the rich states with the ballot initiatives are telling you what healthcare should look like.
Right.
I don't see
practical. Yeah.
There's like one person, one Red Beret from Arkansas. Let's be honest. Come on, guys.
Confused.
Yeah.
Like one.
She just fell in with the wrong crowd. That's all.
And that's the thing, though, is like I mentioned earlier, is that they make you feel comfortable. They bring you into the fold. They give you some confidence. And then, they give you your orders. And you're working for us. And you're going to help us get healthcare here. And maybe one day you'll have it too. But that's not going to happen.
Everyone wants better healthcare. Obviously, everyone. My issue is lying and calling it single payer, lying and calling it Medicare for all. It's not. Stop lying. Stop lying. It's not.
I've been saying this
mass
stream.
parents means tested.
Yeah.
That's not single payer. Means tested means it's literally by income. That's called Medicaid. That is Medicaid expansion. That's what you're talking about. And Medicaid expansion is not in every single state. And that's exactly how Medicare for all would pass. The states who don't want Medicaid expansion, why the fuck would they vote for Medicare for all? They're not gonna. But look at all the people who are suffering without Medicaid expansion. And, I'm sorry, where are these people talking about the over 15 million people about to lose their Medicaid expansion? Who's posting about that besides us? I don't know. I haven't seen anyone.
Not the mass care people. I can tell
Inconvenient. Inconvenient truths. You can't hype that stuff up. You can't change it. So
we're working with an organization out of Missouri because Missouri just finally allowed Medicaid expansion from the Affordable Care Act that they had access to since 2014. And this organization is working to get people signed up because there's always hoops and loops that you got to jump through. You have to show so much documentation and prove that you are deserving of this. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. They don't know how to overcome all of these questions. They don't know how to provide all of this paperwork. And I know this from my personal experience working in nonprofit. We weren't allowed to see patients who had Medicaid. We were actually not allowed to sign people up for Medicaid. So what I would do is I would help people in my off hours sign up for Medicaid because I knew that they qualified for it.
Yeah.
And then other people that I knew who were working full-time jobs couldn't afford, the care that they needed. I would just tell them to lie. Just fucking lie on this paperwork. Tell them you don't have money. You don't have insurance, even if they do, but they can't afford a deductible. Just lie. We're not going to go through and research all of that because they needed care. And I know that they needed help. I've done clinics after clinics where we help patients with medical, dental, vision, foot care, diabetic care, all sorts of treatments. We fed them, we clothed them. And I just told people, even if you have coverage and you can't afford it, show up, get treatment. You deserve this. You are a human being. You should get your filling taken care of. You should have your glasses that are 20 years old and duct taped together replaced. We work with the Lions Club to be able to give people glasses and had optometrists doing exams on the day. I sweet talked laboratories to create partials and dentures for people. Those are things that a lot of people don't understand. When you don't have teeth, you're losing weight. You're dying.
Yeah.
You are dying slowly, a slow and painful death. A lot of people don't get that. And so I just refuse to do this state by state. It doesn't sit right in my heart. I find it morally reprehensible to fight for one and not everyone. And so when I say that, people just think I'm a Looney Tune.
Okay.
And it's like,
there's one other thing that I would like you to address with that, because another talking point that comes up a lot, I know you guys are going to light up with this, is comparing it to the marijuana being passed.
You were just going to say that. Okay, so let me break it down the easiest way I break it down.
I'm sorry. This is something that always comes up with people, and I really feel like, again, this needs to be clarified.
So here, let's break it down. Easy. Okay? Cannabis has been trying to be passed for decades.
He's showing bags of weed, Savage.
He's showing his goodies in his mystery machine.
In his mystery machine. That's so cute.
And Peaches, the parrot, is over here like all of a sudden like, wait, what? Everybody got really excited. He's like, what is happening?
If healthcare was that easy, I would have the best healthcare in the world.
Right?
Well, so the easiest way I break it down is cannabis has been tried to be passed for decades. Okay. First one was passed many moons ago, over a decade ago, and now there are 22 states passed in over a decade.
Yep.
That's less than half.
Yep.
So even going on that record, you're talking what, another 15 years? We're really taking that approach. Furthermore, cannabis brings in money. Healthcare costs money.
Ding,
And
ding. We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Marijuana is actually a cash crop. It
Wait a
brings in
second.
money. Healthcare does not bring in money.
Progressives have to talk about economics?
Fuck that.
Yeah, but it's weed, bro. Come on, man.
And of course, we want
What?
everybody to have access to this healing plant.
Of
These
course,
people-
it needs to be added to a Medicare bill.
Of course.
It is medicine.
No doubt. No doubt.
Absolutely. It needs to be legalized federally, and it needs to be included in a Medicare bill. Like, this
100%.
is the thing that we're trying to, get across here, is that this Medicare bill needs to be blanketed across. It needs to clean our air, clean our water,
Oh my God,
clean our
Miguel.
soil.
I'm like on the
Miguel said, wait, do you see this? You have
No.
this is Miguel cracks us up. Mascara, more like masquerade. Am I right?
Oh, I know. Miguel, I love you, but because of my eyes, I thought that said masturbate, and I'm like, oh, this is my party. All right, Miguel. All right.
Oh my God.
That's
both are valid.
okay? You do you, babe.
That was just freaking fantastic.
Oh my
Miguel.
God.
Oh my gosh. Miguel.
I'm kind of like
Miguel. Or
kind
send
of
me a super chat now. Whichever way you take it.
I like
That's so funny.
the idea that pot should just be legalized across the board. Absolutely, but I think fundamentally, as long as like cannabis can be investigated, and actually they can do science with cannabis, they can like look at it and find out all the goodies and stuff about it and experiment with it and shit. Like, they've stopped it for 75 years or whatever. If they just like allow everybody to do the things with it, and they just don't even fucking legalize it, and it's just that would be just as good, as long as that the medical benefits
They shouldn't be
of
able
the
to.
plant can be utilized in that regard, because that's really the thing that's holding it back. Everybody smokes pot anyway. Who gives a fuck if it's legal, right? So
It shouldn't even be able to
But
be illegal because it's a
thing that-
plant.
It's a
thing
fucking
that's
plant.
illegal, though, is
Legalize
using
all
it
drugs.
scientifically is still illegal, because it's a scheduled fucking drug, and you have to have special permission because it's Schedule 1. So
Womp womp.
Eradicate
I've never
that.
had their permission.
I'm just saying, take that
Illegal
aspect of
in
it
dozens
out.
of states for
and you're good.
medical
Mhm.
marijuana. Okay,
Yeah.
medical. So you're
Yeah.
talking medicinal, something medicinal that is still illegal in
Right, it's
dozens
just
of states. But
preposterous.
Medicare for all also would be essentially medicinal. That'll pass. Whatever.
Mhm.
All good.
It's all good.
And something, and I digress. I did miss the first 20 minutes or so because I was yelling at someone on Twitter, but just full transparency. So one of the other things that I find very important that people usually don't talk about is that when we talk about state by state and we talk about residents, there are how many undocumented people in these states that are completely not able to get this insurance, this healthcare. And I think that is a huge problem. The idea with national approved Medicare for all means literally all. If you're undocumented, if you're, regardless of color, trans, straight, you're a human being, you're covered, period. There are no asterisks, no caveats. You are covered, period. So you have people and I've looked it up. Elizabeth, you may know, but I know Washington has, like, I can't remember the exact amount, but thousands and thousands and thousands of immigrants. Sorry.
Yeah, we're a sanctuary state.
Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Tough
Yeah, I
shit.
have a lot of friends who are dreamers who are on DACA that have relatives that are here undocumented. I live in the poor side of town in a single wide mobile home. My experience in volunteerism is helping the community, many of which who don't even speak English, not just English as a second language, but do not speak English, where myself and my team, we learned Spanish, like dental Spanish, so we could communicate with our patients and be able to treat them so they know what's happening and that they're aware why we have to extract a tooth, for example, or why it can be a filling, or why we need to get a hold of I was going to say an endodontist, but the people who do root canals, and, you know, be able to communicate that with them.
That's
and so
amazing. Like,
it's just, it leaves so many people out when you push this state-based enhanced healthcare, because and I'm saying, like, immigrants, you know, incarcerated people, indigenous people, like their healthcare is atrocious. They do not get quality care on the reservations. They just don't. You know, similar with our veterans, it's awful how our veterans are cared for. And I'm
I
also
was a military brat, and we weren't cared for very well. You know who I had for dentists? I had the people that were learning and were in school working on my mouth as a kid. I did not get good dental care as a kid, being a military brat.
My partner, he was not, you know, part of the military, but same thing. His care was through, you know, schools where they're learning, and he's traumatized for life for dental. Like, this grown, strong man is, you know, just whimpering in a dental chair because of the trauma that he's experienced.
Yeah, like, give me drugs. Like, I don't take that stuff, but I need like Xanax to go to the dentist.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard a veteran tell me that the reason that they tried to extract their own tooth was because the last time a dentist extracted their tooth, they put their knee on their chest instead of anesthetizing, numbing the area for the extraction, and just yanked the fucker out. And it's like, these men or women that I've worked with are just in bits and pieces that have gone and seen, like, you know, these horrible things across the world, and cannot manage, you know, dental. They go without dental care for 20 years.
Prison dental care.
Same thing. I've treated a lot of people who have just recently been released that were previously incarcerated while they're in their bridge until they can qualify for Medicaid or they're trying to look for work. And same story. You know, a lot of them, they just continue to reobsess. Their infection keeps happening and happening. They're just given pills, and then the infection comes back. And then until, you know, either they die in prison or they make it out and they need an emergency extraction, you know, and at some point, the infection gets so bad that you can't even numb the area anymore. So these people who have reobsessed like 6 times, for example, you can't even numb that area anymore because it's so infected and damaged that they just have to bear the pain. And so they're like shaking in the chair. I'm not even assisting the dentist. I'm actually holding their hand through this procedure to help them. These are the people that I want to make sure are taken care of. I've seen the hurt and the pain in their eyes. I've had to turn these people away because we met our maximum cap for these free clinics. Like, this is not okay. And when you tell me that it's okay to fight for one single state, I'm not comfortable with that. I say no. I put my foot down. Healthcare is a human right. That's dental, that's vision, that's medical, that's mental health, that's devices, that's long-term care, that's having access to alternative medicine, healing, like acupuncture, and also marijuana. We know mushrooms also help with depression and PTSD. Like, this is what we need. And the fact that people are trying to divide the national movement to fight for what's necessary and instead have a selfish campaign for their own state, it is not okay. We have to stop that. And I'm not saying for these people to stop organizing. I want them to switch their strategy, join the national movement, and let's fucking fight together for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
And
thing.
we did a whole stream on teeth and mouth care. And so I'm putting that in the chat right now. Vegan came on and Lady Alex, and we talked about, healthcare in our teeth because people like to separate that. Okay. Unless you have dentures, your teeth are not removable. That is part of your skeleton. And so I'm going to put that, just so you guys know, I'm going to put that in the chat. Go ahead, Savage.
I was going to say Friday, I was in the hospital for my eyes, and they all know me there. I get to go there quite often. And it was the second time I was there in a row when I literally had to stop them before they started a procedure because I had to throw up violently because I knew I'd be getting an additional medical bill. And to sit there and you're like literally getting eye injections. Yeah, it's even worse than it sounds. And you're about to get needles in your eyes and you have to like stop to throw up because you know that fucking injection is over $12,000 per eye. And even with insurance, it still costs thousands of dollars for you. And you have to stop to throw up because you know what is coming after. This is traumatizing enough, but the mail you get soon enough is going to be even more traumatizing. And to think about only fighting for myself in a situation like that, I guess I'm just not that kind of person, because even if Pennsylvania had a ballot initiative, I'll be damned. I will be damned. I will strike me dead right now. I will be damned if I ever put national on the back burner. Ever. Anyone, I don't give a fuck what your political beliefs, anyone with any sense of humanity does not want a single person to suffer. I guess it wouldn't drive me as batshit crazy if these state-by-state people did it on the back end and still prioritized national. When you say, why are you doing it? Well, we support national. When do you talk about it? Please tell me. When do you talk about it? Because I remember in 2021, our 56 actions across the U.S., when I had to tell certain single-payer or state-by-state people, when I had to constantly DM them because they were infiltrating all of our threads with pictures of them, selfies of them, pictures of their hats, pictures of their own state, pictures of their rallies and what they were going to do, when we had 56 locations and people were literally starting to think there was only one event and it was in Washington because of the way they were just infiltrating every stream, every comment section. And I had to keep DMing them. Please stop. Please. There are 56 actions. We need to focus on all of them. And that's the thing. So much of it is about ego. So much of it is, about we can do this. We're that. We have a super PAC. Oh, wait, I wasn't supposed to say that. Well, the thing is, today I was accused of like hating on, a single payer, when the fact of the matter is, if you consider stating facts, hating on it, that is your call. That's not me. That's your call. Because that sounds like some Hillary Clinton shit. Because when we stated facts about Hillary Clinton, we were being hateful. Well, that's what that sounds like to me. I'm not being hateful about it. I'm saying it's fucked up. I'm saying I'm angry. I'm saying there are people suffering and you're focusing on yourself. That's what I'm saying. That is the truth. You can try and rationalize it. You can try and say it's not incremental. To me, you ask any mathematician, is 1 out of 50 incrementalist? They will say yes. This is, these are facts. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. Yep. But let me
live with the truth. We want the truth.
Yeah.
Some people don't.
That's the only way forward is with truth.
These are the same people though that like if you post a picture that they took, they're like, why didn't you give this person credit? Why didn't you give me credit for this picture that I took and put on the internet and you didn't give me credit for it? Mm-hmm. But when you say, hey, can you, I don't know, not use my organization to promote a different kind of initiative? Can you not tag the organization that I started while putting pictures of something else that has nothing to do with my organization? Can you not do that?
Yeah.
Oh, and then all of a sudden, oh, okay, yeah, I guess. Oh, okay, that's the shit you do on the regular. And then you have the audacity to bitch about a picture that someone else tweeted and didn't give you credit for, or not getting credit because you promoted this thing and on your YouTube channel and you didn't get the kind of credit that you wanted, even though we gave you a softball for content to give to your audience, and it's something that you say you already support. So I'm not sure why you need such credit. It's really pissing me off. This YouTube crowd and this ballot initiative crowd, both of them are destroying any chance of America ever getting national health care. And I'm going to say that. Destroying. Ballot initiatives in states, not going to get you national health care. And this YouTube bullshit where you need your ego stroked or you need to be promoted in a certain way to talk about healthcare in a certain way. It's like, you're just full of shit. Do you care about journalistic integrity, or do you care about clicks or money, or what is it that you care about? Because I'm really confused about what you actually care about. You say you care about a thing because it's a topic you talk about on your show a lot, sure. But then when it actually comes to say, hey, can you promote the thing that you care about? Oh, but can you give me credit? Can you give me this? Can I? No. You should want to do that because that's what you already say you support. That's what you say your channel is about. That's what you say you are about. If you are an independent political commentator or journalist, you should just talk about this shit anyways because that's what you fucking do.
Right.
Let your Patreons tell you whether or not they like your content, whatever. But when someone says, hey, can you share this? If you say no, you say no, whatever. But don't say, yeah, I'll share it if you like give me the right kind of shout out. Like, fuck you. Sorry, but fuck you. I'm done. I'm like literally done with the political YouTube.
I don't even know. I've never asked anybody for a shout out like that or anything. I didn't even know that was a thing.
All I know is that people have gone from like 5,000 subs to like 40, 50, 60,000 subs.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm going to find out. But I think, one of the things that I want
I don't know what that means exactly. I'm just like, I'm confused. Like, what kind of credit is it that you're supposed to get?
Elizabeth knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Is it like monetary credit?
I'm happy to have you guys on the show because you're speaking truth. Graphic? Like, that's what matters to me.
Why didn't you put me on this graphic that you made, March for Medicare?
Yeah.
It exists. This exact thing that I'm saying right now exists, and it exists hard, and it exists, and it's all over indie media. And the more subs these people get, the more they think they can be divas in a space that doesn't give a shit about divas. Outside of your own little world, we don't care. Like, I'm done. I'm literally done with these people. Like, they can all go fuck themselves for all I care.
We faced the same thing when we were trying to promote July 30th. Like, if they didn't get a speaking spot, then they weren't promoting the action.
Yeah.
And that's not cool.
A lot of fucking shit happened on July 30th. Remember that? That was
Yeah, I remember that was crazy shit. It's very similar to what's happening right now.
Very similar.
And I do want to make it
Jamal Bowman did the same thing.
Because
it's really weird how that happened.
Something I really want to say is that as M4all, as an org, we have continuously been very conscientious to put people of color, LGBTQ, immigrant, disabled people up. That has always been the case. Always. If you look at our thing in, I forget, March or April, we were on the air for 20 hours. We did like 15 panels. Every single panel had a person of color. Every single one. You look at our speakers from July, majority of our speakers were people of color, be it Black, Hispanic, Indigenous. Majority were women. We had a number of LGBTQ+. We had a number of disabled people. We made it very accessible, which, who else does that? Not other healthcare rallies. who else has like fucking Braille and ASL interpreters? So, and I also just want to make the point that just because it's, you know, a few of us who go on shows and stuff, we have Black people on our team. We have LGBTQ people on our team. Like, they're not comfortable in front of cameras.
Yeah,
That doesn't
and they shouldn't have to be the face of it.
Push them forward. That doesn't mean we don't ask them, please, I'm sick of going on camera. Everyone knows my story. They know it. I'm cool. Ask someone else. I'm constantly pushing other disabled people. Constantly. Because people know my story. I have my own show anyway. I can talk about whatever, whenever the fuck I want anyway.
Exactly.
Not everyone's comfortable. So now you take some of the state-by-state organizations. Well, they only have these white people on all the time because that's all they have.
They're all white.
They don't have any disabled people. They don't have any Black people. That's what it comes down to. So when it comes down to, like, you know, who you see, Elizabeth has been with M4all for what, over 2 years, and you just went on camera for the first time like a month ago?
Like, because I got her to come on, and Joy was like, "What? You've been on her show first?"
I honestly hate being here. I love you, Lucky and Stever and Ricardo and so much joy, but I hate being here. I am not like being on camera person at all. I hate this, but I just am so fucking fed up with this incremental push that's happening and seeing it divide the left even further, and then seeing it being promoted by these people that I once, you know, trusted and watched and listened to. You know, it just, I can't stay quiet anymore. But there are a ton of people at March Medicare for All from all backgrounds. I mean, we have seniors that help us with so many things that are already on Medicare and know that it's crap and are trying to stop these direct contracting entities as well, which is the privatization of Medicare into Medicare Advantage. Isn't that special? Your Medicare is going to be advantaged, you know, like, it just, we're not playing identity politics. We organize with people who show up to the meetings and who help do the work. And for these panels, there were so many people. That's why it turned, I think we were originally talking about doing like 3 or 4 panels, and it ended up being 11 panels because there's so many voices that need to be heard. There's so many aspects. There's so many intersectional aspects of healthcare, like climate change, you know, like immigration, like incarcerated peoples. Like, there's so much that plays into this, and even with cannabis, like, we need all of those groups to come together, and that's why it ended up being 11 panels and a 20-hour, you know, summit that we hosted. And I know others have hosted summits as well, and so they know how much work it is to get people to come on the, you know, to actually agree to be a panelist. People fall out because things come up in their life, especially with COVID. You know, a lot of people drop out. Some people, which I was voluntold I had to be on a panel to replace a panelist because they ended up having to work. You know, it just, I get so frustrated with this continuous push for state by state. And so I just
don't want to, like,
came on camera and I hate it.
I don't want to discount all of our volunteers who are people of color and LGBTQIA and all this stuff just because they don't feel comfortable in front of a camera. That's not right. They shouldn't
have to be. They're not a token. They exist and they're part of what you're doing. And that's enough.
I think that was a low blow because we have talked about that before. I think, God, practically maybe, I know a lot of RPN has been on many of our specials. And they were very aware that we, you know, of our, you know, our team, like what what we are made of, what we stand for, what, you know, that we are all fucking different. Most of us are either broke or poor, and we are 24/7 volunteers. We don't get Patreon. We don't get Super Chat. We literally exist on love of the fight. We haven't even had a donation link since July.
I mean, it's obvious.
We work every day.
Yeah, you guys don't ever ask for money, like, you know, like it's not like
we really don't
hate
anymore.
Asking for money. We
hated it. We hated it for the National Day of
Oh
Action.
God, it was hell.
RBN knows all this though.
So many times, just give to mutual aid. Like, it was so hard. It was so hard. And the second we were done with the marches, we're like, remove that button. That's it.
Yeah.
Back to work.
We are not accepting donations at March Medicare for All. Since August 31st of 2022, we have temporarily stopped taking donations. We're not sure what the direction is and how we're going to pay for future actions. We would prefer to do more of a mutual aid style. So like if I decide to hold a rally here, then I would be working to reach out to local organizations and people to try and get, you know, get donations, whether that be in money for me to spend towards the event or having them donate water or having them bring their table that we can borrow for the day or, you know, what have you. And, you know, this is a decentralized movement. We're all across the country. We have volunteers from the South. We have them from the Midwest. We have them from the Great Lakes area, from the Northeast, from the West Coast. We are all over the country.
A lot of ballot initiative states.
A lot of our organizers are.
Two right there.
But yeah, we hate asking for money. This is awful. We shouldn't have to try and fundraise. And we're not a fundraising machine. None of us are skilled at asking for people to donate because we're poor people. We already are like, we don't want to ask for money to help with our own bills. We're not trying to ask for money. And every time that we do this, I'm the bookkeeper for the movement. So I get access to seeing who's donating money and how much they're donating. I report all of this. You can see our financials on the website from 2021. 2022 will be posted soon. And we're completely transparent to the penny. But I'm seeing donations of $3 and $5 come in. And those are the ones that touch my heart because that's what I would be donating. What I'm doing is donating my time. I also do donate money because I cover some other bills. Same with Ricky, Savage Joy, like all of us, literally every one of us at March Medicare for All this costs us money. None of us are getting
and all of us traveling out to DC and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, they did a house share. I mean, I couldn't afford to fly from the West
Coast. There were like 12 of us in one house with pumpkin bands.
I know, that was so cool.
It was fucking fun.
We're in the red and they call us grifters and they don't say anything about their favorite NGOs that are connected to their favorite celebrity politicians. So it's just a fucking joke at this point. People know who we are. Like, oh, you don't support this and this and that. Get the fuck out of here. Back in 2021 when we launched RBN, we'll go with RBN. RBN had speakers in Detroit, Boston, Washington, DC, and Orlando. And I know this because I was the one that did all of the organizing the lists of names all across the country, right? I organized all of the accounts that they used to get RSVPs.
So they spoke at your March for Medicare for All.
Yeah, and I put their pictures. I put their pictures on our social media. Like, I did all this. Like, I know this. Like, don't say we don't do this and that when we clearly do this and that. Like, stop it. Like, stop. We're not missing anything. If you want to come join us and do the work, you don't want to because you'd be here and doing it. So if you don't want to come and do the work, all right, fine. It's fine. Don't do the work. But like, we're still platforming people that don't do the work. Don't say we don't. All right. Don't say we don't. I'm done. I'm like, this is where I'm at with activism. They lie about you. They lie about who you are, what you stand for, what you're doing with money, how you work with other people. It's all a lie. They're literally lying. And if they're not an op, they're literally acting like an op because they see other ops doing it, and they're just they're copycatting what ops are doing. So they're literally becoming.
I feel exactly the same way, dude.
They're literally
this little fishbowl we're in. It's all
it
around
sounds
us.
like a conspiracy, but like, guys, you're acting like feds. You are acting like feds, and you're destroying your own chance of getting healthcare because you're literally mimicking what the feds that have infiltrated your groups are doing.
Yeah.
It makes me so depressed and sad. And
It's
like
a fucking
Joy was
drag.
saying,
I can see why you guys are
telling
like why you be like cynical at this point and be like, fuck you. Fuck you
Yeah.
all.
I've
If
been
you're
doing
not
this for
gonna
2
fucking
years.
be real, then
Straight.
fuck it. What else do you have to lose?
I can't tell you how
Something
many
I
times I've
definitely-
texted the middle finger emoji with the sunglasses to Ricky because I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I said what I said, and I'm not sorry
Over
for
it.
saying it because it's the truth. These are the facts. And if you don't like them, if they don't sit right with you, then you need to figure that out. It's not
I, for
on
one,
me.
am ever grateful that you guys fucking came on tonight and broke it down for people because it needed
it's
to be done.
really important. This is really
Well, I do want to
important.
share something very important, you guys, and Ricky and Elizabeth know this. I believe I've only said it once publicly, and it was on Twitter, a very short thread. But as far as the state by state, because of the commentary the other day, we're this and that, whatever. I want to share something about the state by state in Washington that still gets platformed on all the shows.
Oh, the red berets, is that the one you're talking about? The whole Washington, I think that's their name, right?
Harassed, bullied, and threatened us so bad that I pulled out from the documentary I was interviewed for. Okay, now me, as a disabled person, I went to Philadelphia to meet Kenny Ballantyne. He flew in from Los Angeles. I went to Philadelphia. He filmed the whole thing on me, and their bullying and attacks got so bad that I called Kenny one day, absolutely sobbing hysterically, and said, you know what? My story deserves to be out there. I want everyone to hear my story, but I cannot be in a film with these people who have said the most disgusting, hurtful, hateful things about me and my family, who have worked our asses off. Yep. And Kenny 100% understood. 100%. So I want to make that very clear, that these platforms who are going at us still highlight people that bullied a disabled woman so bad that she pulled out of a documentary rather than having her story known and sharing it to hopefully help some people. She wrestled with that so bad that she said, you know what, take my footage out. That was one of the hardest decisions I have ever made. But just because I didn't want to be in the same film with people who treated people like that.
Yep.
That's how bad they've been.
Yep.
So you may not see that.
Yeah, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes.
There's so much that happens behind the scenes.
And
So
I didn't realize what a fucking mess that this whole YouTube space is and this whole like advocacy space is. And until this last year when I started my show. That's when I realized and quickly realized that when you speak the fucking truth and you're authentic in who you are and you call people out when they're fucking up, no matter who they fucking are, because you care. Because you're not calling them out to be an asshole. You're calling them out because it's better for everybody. Because that's how we grow together. That's how we do better together. It's when we fucking focus on the fucking truth that's who gets blacklisted.
Yeah. Well, yeah, these people are the same people that are still calling their ballot initiative single payer or Medicare for all. And like we've told them that's not single payer because it's not one payer. And it's not Medicare for all because Medicare for all are these two bills that that we're fighting for. That these are national bills. Yes. That kills medical debt for people. Does it kill medical tyranny? No. We're not stupid. We know that there's a huge problem in this country, but it kills you from having to pay the bills for the medical tyranny they implement on you, and that's a huge, huge deal, right? and they still lie. They still manipulate. They still use these terms, knowing that those terms are not what they're pushing.
Mhm.
And I'm over here. I got my YouTube channel zapped because I literally I'm a straight shooter. I just say what I believe. I actually believe. I do not self-censor. Clearly, tonight I'm just going. But like,
our opinions are not. We're not paid for our opinions. Our opinions are not based in any kind of financial gain.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that anybody else's are, because I'm not them. But I can tell you that mine, personally, I don't have a financial gain or anybody giving me money to have the opinions that I have or to not have the opinions that I have. That's just me personally. I don't have any donors or anybody that's influencing me in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I have, as a disabled person, I work in an unair conditioned warehouse 4 days a week. Okay. Unloading trucks. That's what I do for $10 fucking an hour. After I've worked in healthcare for over a decade, but nobody else will hire my ass as a blind person. So what do I get on my Patreon after over 5 years on a show? I get $67 a month. That's what I get.
Yeah, we have like 4 or 5 Patreons, and we love you guys that are Patreons. Like, it's so special to us.
But when you're getting super chat, and you can afford producers and all this stuff, I'm blind and I don't even have a producer. That's how broke I am. I could do a lot better shows and a lot more shows if I wasn't fucking showing everyone the top of my head every time I tried to post something. But it is what it is. And I know that has a huge reason of why my numbers have gone down. I know for a fact it's because my shows aren't as clean, because I have no one helping me. So
if you need help, if you need help, I will help you.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. But here's the thing. I don't believe in having people help without paying them. That's the thing. I don't believe in that. So like when Andy Kennedy comes on sometimes he'll be in the back end. He laughs when I say that, in the back end. But and then he'll be showing the videos and stuff for me. I give him $25 every time he does it, because he's taking his time and energy and stuff to help me. But I can't do it anymore. I can't. That's a lot of money.
I can help you. I'm dead serious. We will talk. And you're just gonna have to get over it. From one disabled woman to another disabled woman, can I please not help somebody that's helping me in another way while you're fighting for healthcare? You know what I mean? Like, this is how we support each other. This is the mutual aid. This is it, Joy.
Yeah, it's part of it.
This is the mutual aid.
They accept weed as payment. Little set.
I don't expect anything. If I say I can help, then I'll help. If I'm like I can't do, I'll tell you if I can't. I Drew, he's in the chat too, and you guys, I want to connect all you guys up with Drew too, because he's doing an awesome podcast on epilepsy. He and living through epilepsy, and I've been helping produce that with him behind the scenes, and it's working out great. And I want you guys to all connect too, because he's doing, this is how we do it, right? We support each other how we can. We're honest with each other about what we can do to help. And if we can or we can't commit to something, we're honest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
If it became too much and I'm like, Joy, I can't do it. Will you be like, oh, I just hate you, Lucky, No, I want to help and I want to do that. And I don't want you to have guilt because you're paying it forward in a different way. This is what we do. This is the mutual aid.
You're making me want to cry, but I
know I can't. Don't start, Joy.
I've been crying for 3 fucking days. I don't know if I have any more. My husband's listening to me. He's probably like, what the fuck? She's super serious. That's why well, Drew, I can't see your comments, but please hit me up because I would love to have you on my show to talk about that. Absolutely. I forgot what I was going to say.
I watched the stream tonight that Drew did, and it was absolutely fascinating. The connection that he has with the Epilepsy Foundation, and that he is raising money with the music that he is putting out to try and
that him and Steve started doing and
Steve are
producing
working
together,
on-
and it's we have this amazing group of people. And it's just growing, and it's really genuine, and it's really kind of like I just say, like, we collect like just the best of all the people, you know what I mean? Like, if you're part of this, then you're one of the best of the people, you know, like you're just, like you're here because you want truth or whatever, and we're really here for each other as a community.
Yeah. And someday we'll find out if Massachusetts ever really got its health care or not.
I just thought of what I wanted to say. When I started doing a show over 5 years ago, for a good 2 years, well, I was the only girl doing a show by myself. So that was really rare. And there were not a lot of indie media people at all. And I remember, like, if you go back and look at my shows, I used to say, like, every show, oh my God, indie media, we're like this community, and it's so awesome, and we love each other so much, and we text and we give each other guest ideas, and we help each other connect with them, and it was so fucking amazing. And then the past 2 years, I think that's what makes me the most sad, is that right now we're like feuding with, or whatever you want to call it, with people who we should be in solidarity with this class war. It's a fucking class war.
It's heartbreaking.
None of us. But yet,
this is heartbreaking.
This channel hates this channel, and it's fucking depressing. At the end of the day, we're all still being oppressed by the same fucking people.
Yes. Correct.
Mm-hmm. It sucks. It really sucks. And it saddens me that when it happens to people you've done so many shows with, and it hurts. Like, it fucking sucks.
It's a fucking drag, man. I can relate to that 100%.
I don't like ending like things. Like, even like, I'll just say it. There was a YouTuber, and I was sent over 20 screenshots of them saying absolutely horrible things about me. And horrible things about me. And that was in June. And you know what? Never said a word publicly. Why? Because I didn't want to start shit. It hurt. I confronted them in DM privately. And then I'm known as Savage Joy, but in real life, I'm a fucking pushover, and I'm not proud of it. I then was like, hey, how's it going? And I was the one who kept pressing, trying to be like cool with them still. I shouldn't have, but that's how I was. And this person was coming on one of our M4all things and would not even reply to my DM to say if they were still coming on. I had to go through a third party, even though we're all adults, and say, can you ask so-and-so if they're still coming on, because they won't respond to tell me if they're still coming on. That's how petty and young this shit was, okay? Wow. This was in June. I never said a word publicly, even so much as this. Even though I'm not naming the person, I never even gave this general thing, okay? And I kept my mouth shut. What's it, 5 months later, I never said a word, because I don't like this fucking drama between YouTubers. I fucking hate this shit. If you want to disagree on things, cool. But accept when you make a mistake. Accept it. Yes. Post a correction, move on. This shit could have ended 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm. It didn't even have to be a thing. Like,
it didn't have to be a thing.
I mean, I literally replied to that and was like, just add some context to it then. Just like add your video, or, you know what I mean? Add some context, like, because people are really confused.
And the lack of accountability is what's very frustrating, because nobody should have your unequivocal support to the point that you do not hold them accountable. Look, I'm human. If I fuck up and I post something that you interpret that you're like, are you sure you mean it this way? Fucking tell me. tell me, dude. Fucking tell me. I'll rework. I'll clarify. I'll delete it. Whatever. I don't fucking care. I'm human.
Yep.
But having someone's back to the point that you can love them, you can like them, you can even respect them, but coming to their defense as though they're a savior, even when they make a mistake or do something wrong, is hero worship. That's not okay. It's not. I don't care who the person is.
I agree.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be like that with anybody.
No,
like
never.
Steve is my partner. I choose him every day. You know what I mean? And we will strongly talk to each other. And like, you know, like if I don't agree, I don't just automatically agree with everything that he says. Like, no, like
often,
that.
Often she doesn't agree, and I have to convince her. I get the hose out.
And
after a while, she listens.
She catches on.
She catches on.
Like, I don't agree with him 100% of the time, and I use that as an example a lot on the show. Like I he's my best friend, and I don't agree with him on everything. So like, I can't expect that I'm going to agree with everybody on everything. You know.
Listen, here's the fun story. Me and Ricky, me and Elizabeth, we've all had fights about how to do things. We're family. That shit fucking happens. Like, it happens. Sometimes
passionate people have passion, and they interact with passion. They love a lot, and they fight a lot, and they mean it. And everybody, you know what I mean? That it's genuine. And the fact is that anybody that I've had a disagreement with or perceived disagreement with on the Twitter or the YouTube or whatever the case may be, those people have all chosen to just like walk away rather than have a conversation and grow and be tighter because of it.
I call them cancel culture vultures.
Yes.
Because I feel like people are looming and waiting for a reason to cancel people. I don't understand why.
It gets a lot of clicks. I've learned that.
Yeah, it's
in the last couple of years.
It
gets a lot of clicks if you're
farmers, man.
Especially if you're really fast at it.
I know if I stopped covering things of substance and started talking about other YouTubers and what other YouTubers say and stuff,
God, yeah,
you'd blow up.
My clicks would go up because what? I don't give a fuck about that shit.
I'm not going to do a Jimmy Dore reaction video because it's going to get me clicks. I know that puts you up on the algorithm. I know that any kind of infighting with him or any of the TYT people or any of these personalities that everybody has like a team sport on. I don't care about that. That is not going to help me in my life. That's not going to improve my life. That's going to cause me more stress and more anxiety. And I know that the algorithm favors that over real talk.
But that idea thing is
but it's not my due. It's not my thing.
It's what fuels
my headlines are like, oh, SCIEU strikers and stuff like that. And it's like, But it's like if I was like Elon Musk, smash, like, join, comment, hell yeah.
That's like for OnlyFans. We get joy like wrestling mode.
Hillary Clinton had a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah,
100,000 views. It's
right.
Okay,
100,000 views.
Oh my God.
Where are we at, America? Come on.
Why aren't you guys in wrestling outfits right now? I mean, that's probably a solid idea.
I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, and I can do that metal voice. I just want to brag.
That's kind of hot. That'll probably get you mad clicks.
We'll just do some shorts of you.
I'm gonna make that my ringtone.
Okay, we need to do some Savage Joy shorts of you saying really funny things in the wrestling voice.
Okay, ready? I'll do the one that you guys laugh at. Okay, douche canoe. Okay, twat waffle.
Set up the mini trigger. Ricky Rants is running wild tonight.
Peaches is getting excited. He's like, what is happening?
Rantomania.
I know you like Joy making those noises, don't you?
We should have Joy do shorts with important facts about Medicare for All in the metal voice.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, I've got a good one. Okay,
Fuck yes.
Democrats are donkeys. Oh, that's the animal voice I can do. Ricky is blown away. Ricky's an actor, and he's
You are
like,
giving me clip. You're giving me clip gold, Joy. Come on, keep them coming.
Oh my god!
Can you do an elephant? Can you do an elephant?
The elephant?
Yeah.
Snuffleupagus.
You go horse?
Oh, bird.
You're trying to do an elephant is a freaking best.
That almost sounded like Dino from the
Oh my god, my cheeks hurt so bad.
Oh my god, I know my cheeks hurt, and I'm like, oh my gosh, oh.
Oh, good
Oh.
story, Joy.
That's not bad. That's not too bad. I do
Come on
every
now.
accent in the universe. Like, pretty much.
See?
Hello, everyone. Please vote for Medicare for all you people in the US need it. We have the NHS, which is really the best way to go. However, Medicare for all, it really is the best as the US will give you. So please support national improved Medicare for all, because people are bloody dying,
She
and
got a
y'all are
lovely accent,
sitting
she
on your
does.
bloody asses. Get off your fucking asses, you wankers.
No cocaine, eh?
She got a lovely accent, she
No
does.
cocaine, eh? Nate?
It ain't-
Can you do Bernie Sanders? That's an accent.
Listen, you guys,
What is he, Dancing Thriller?
you need support Medicare for all. It's not a radical idea.
Healthcare is not a radical idea.
I just
We're gonna have like a script for Joy. Like we're gonna have a script, okay, and we'll just have you record
Yeah,
all
why
these.
aren't
and then
you, why aren't
send
you
them to
rich
Steve.
from doing voiceover work? I mean, come
Yeah.
Oh
on.
my
At
god.
this point,
Here,
Jesus.
I'll
Great
do
job,
my-
Black.
You're on your way.
I'll do my my Russian. I've had her for a
Svetlana?
while. My name is Svetlana Bubush. I came here from Russia, and Vladimir Putin sent me, and he sent me to destroy Bernard Sanders. And what I do is I destroy the election, and I watch the Bernie bros go crazy. Let me tell you something. What I do is I just enjoy those tears. Oh my God, I love them. Oh, Svetlana, look me up online, 1-800-Svetlana. If you do anything, do not support Medicare for all. It is communism, and you do not want that.
She has,
Go
a K,
Russia.
she has a K hive in her babushka.
Oh jeez.
We're gonna like make vegan pee your pants over here.
Yeah, my cheeks hurt so bad. I don't even know if I can keep.
You probably haven't even heard my accents, have you?
This is
I've heard
quality
some of them. You
programming,
send me
guys.
voice messages with your accent.
Oh yeah, that's right. You know, how does this happen every time I'm
Yeah,
on
why,
your show?
why don't we
I
have
don't
voice
understand.
choice?
I need okay, Joy. I need to give you my number because I
That
want
could be a
funny
good
voicemails.
That's a good segment. Voicemails with Joy.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Oh
God,
my
Steve,
God.
you're totally gonna clip these, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah.
It's okay, I don't care. I'm a dork.
We're real here,
that's
so you
great.
know we'll be honest and we'll tell you. Yeah, they'll be.
I
good.
do. I can't be.
You
the
might
only
end up
one
in
who's
you
a
might
dork.
end up in an EDM song. I'm gonna be honest with you right now.
Drew and
So if you
Steve.
find yourself dancing,
Oh my
Drew and
God.
Steve make
Like-
all kinds of music. So Drew clips me.
yes, definitely. It gives me like Limp Bizkit vibes. I definitely Fred Durst would be proud.
Oh my god!
Oh my
I'm
God.
crying. I'm like literally crying.
Back into your intro. Ricky's never gonna talk to me again. I can see his eyes. I'm like, I just lost a friend. I'm serious.
Ricky's like twitching, like
Oh, he's put up with us so much. He already knows.
He loves being on here with all the ladies and Steve's voice.
He's a
It's his voice.
How can
Not
you?
Steve, just his voice.
Really Steve's voice.
Just his body voice.
It's easier to deal with when it's just my vocal. The visual thing throws people off, you know?
Because then they think, did you just turn Cornel West upside down?
Yeah, they're like,
It looks like
what is
it.
wrong with it?
It's his beard. It looks like it's his beard. It looks like his hair.
All right. Yes. Don King in the 70s. I know. The manicure
Oh my
look
gosh. Oh
takes-
my gosh.
Takes a lot.
I think I'm gonna have to take off soon though.
I know, me too. Oh my god, I have to
Yeah.
work. I didn't realize how late it is. We always
Yeah.
lose track of time, and that's good.
I know. Because
But let's
it's- I
get
mean,
me
it's
like
fun.
in all seriousness, I have been so fucking down these past 3 days. So let's what can we leave this on as a positive note? What can we say to encourage each other and encourage people in the audience to keep fighting? And like what can we end this on?
I think definitely more death metal voices.
I think
That's a good start.
that should be included in Medicare for all.
Mutual aid is not always about money.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That is fucking.
It is
that
not
is
always
true.
about money, and it's
Very
about
true.
being there for each other.
We can help each other.
in the ways that we can be there for each other, and we just need to be honest with each other about what we are capable of doing and what we're not capable of doing, and just be really honest. I think that is like one of the biggest things. Like I always say, like I feel like we can heal the world. If I could give the world one thing, it wouldn't be like ending world hunger or giving everyone health care or, like any of those things. I would give people truth. That's exactly what I would give them. That's my answer. Because can you imagine if these motherfuckers couldn't lie to us?
Mhm.
Can you imagine if they had to tell us the truth about what their intentions were? Can you imagine if it wasn't okay for politicians to lie and that we didn't just, completely like just say, oh, yeah, that's what they do?
Mhm.
Imagine if truth was what we all strive for all the time. People wouldn't be starving. People would have health care. Because there's no way that anybody would just keep going forward with the truth. If they knew the truth and you had to speak the truth, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in.
No.
We're in this situation because of lies.
It's really what I've dedicated my Twitter to. My Twitter, for a while there, I was very unpopular. I went from being like just that one account you saw here and there, and then I lost a lot of followers, and I gained a lot of followers. One of those things.
I lost 1,000 in one day.
It's like they
Yeah.
stick the bots on you or something, and then you suddenly have like twice as many followers as you did,
But
but-
they'll hate you.
but they all hate you, and
Hate
you.
follow. Those are the greatest.
Yeah, it's
fuck?
bizarre how that.
But the great thing is, I ended up just blocking all the trolls because that's what they really are. It's not like, oh, you disagree. No, they were trolls. They were trolling, and now I don't get trolled at all because I blocked
That's
all the.
amazing.
I got all the ones that are the main ones that go back to their little hate groups because they have.
Oh,
these
yeah,
are-
they have hives.
Rick,
I mean,
They
they
have
have
hives.
little shotgun got him.
they have like
Got
bully
'em.
groups where all they do is they go into this group and they're like, who do we bully today? How can we misconstrue someone's words, take their words out of context, call them racist or anti-Semitic or homophobic or transphobic or whatever they want to like shit on someone for today, even though they all probably are like felons themselves.
Yes.
Like they're all fucking assholes. They're all fucking like stealing money from campaigns and shit. Like Jeff Miami clearly like literally worked on that campaign
That's
of
what
the
I was
guy
thinking
who was
of,
doing
actually.
like coke with hookers in a fucking like hotel room. Like get out of here. Like
Because
just shut up.
that's the American dream, isn't it?
It is the real American dream, right? They're all fake. They're all
Democrats,
phony.
he's
But I
allowed.
started blocking those people because they're just trolls and they're there to waste your time and slow you down. I blocked them all, and now I have a clean shot. No one even reports me anymore. I don't even go to Twitter timeout anymore.
That's
And
incredible.
I talk about all the corruption. I talk about what's killing people, how it's killing people, how the green movement's all fake. Like everything's fake. Everything we know. Yeah. God, the more I study, the more I realize everything we were taught as kids is just a lie. Everything is a lie.
Bro.
Healthcare is a lie. 9/11's a lie. Like,
I so wish I had the perspective that you have right now at your age. I wish I had that then, because God damn it, I would have made a big difference in something.
And that's why I'm committed to this, man. I'm committed to just telling the truth and at least calling. Like, maybe I'm not always right either. Like, I'm not saying I'm always right, but I'm like, guys, there's something wrong here. Like, if there's so much propaganda around something, if they're pushing a narrative so hard, if they're literally censoring people over things like, oh, you can't talk about ivermectin. Like,
are you right?
Why can't you talk about a miracle drug that is award winning and people have been taking for 45 years? Why?
You know what's crazy? My dog takes that on a monthly basis. It's called HeartGuard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everybody.
Most people don't realize that their dogs and cats take these monthly any of them that take those monthly chewables to help against heartworm and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Does no one notice that that a lot of the dogs didn't get sick? They can get coughs.
Yeah.
They can get colds.
Yeah. They can catch coronaviruses. And that is absolutely factual, that as a prophylactic, it's probably the best thing that they have. But 100%. They still keep playing it down. You got to take the Pfizer one. You got to take this one. You gotta keep believing whatever they tell you. Be afraid. I saw a thing today that in Canada, 52% of the people are like totally A-okay with wearing a mask indoors. Like, they're just like still okay with it. Like, oh yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I don't care what anyone does. Like, anyone can do whatever they want, but don't sit here and tell me that I should be wearing a mask because it does something.
Exactly.
When I've poured through data for years now, I've been pouring through the data. I can't find anywhere in the world where masks changed the curve. It didn't flatten the curve in any country.
Imagine that people.
It just didn't. I'm sorry.
They made
people put you down for doing research.
Yeah.
For reading,
for debunking
for looking at scientific studies.
We're not qualified to do that research.
Right.
We didn't go to some university that indoctrinates everyone. We didn't get that indoctrination. So how dare we do our own research? The way you read words is much different than these scholars read words. You know that, right?
Yeah, like
they process that in their brains is so much more sophisticated than us stupid people, us cave people that go dum dum boom boom. You know, like, we're just idiots. We can't do that. We're not allowed to do that. I studied theater in college. Who am I to be fucking reading?
How dare you try to learn Latin words?
Don't listen to anything I say.
You know, this is where we're at. We're like, no one's qualified to do anything anymore. Yet politicians who are definitely not qualified in our
the most mediocre among us, certainly.
Politicians are mandating and telling us what we should and should not do with ourselves. But we're the ones that aren't qualified to have decisions and read things. And yet these politicians who are passing things, they must know exactly what they're doing because they have all these resources, don't they?
They don't even read the bills that they pass.
They don't even read the bills that they pass.
No, because they're written by lawyers, man. They're written by teams of fucking lawyers. Who fucking understand that shit?
Less and less politicians are lawyers now.
Yes. Less and less.
Now they're just like Instagram stars.
Basically, through the 70s and 80s, all the politicians were lawyers. And they worked with the corporations to get everything in place so that everything's in place. Now,
I know, looking backwards, it's
all working like a charm.
It's like, how did we even fucking get here? But okay, so Joy was having us wrap up on a positive note. And I said,
oh shit, I fucked that up.
I said that mutual aid does not always need to be money, and that we're here for each other. And that I think that is one of the biggest things, is that we have each other, and we need to be open and honest and rely on each other. And when somebody offers help, allow them to help us.
I agree.
These two have my number. Will you guys make sure that Joy gets my number?
I'll send it to her.
Okay. And we're here to help each other. And that's what we're here for. And that's how we're going to get through this. That's how we're going to make sure that the truth matters. and that the truth gets out.
I want to be clear on my position on masking. I'm sorry. I want to be clear because I am 100% for the technology of spit blocking that wearing a mask provides, but it's the smaller stuff is the issue. That's where the thing. It's less effective to stop you from getting sick, but keeping spit off of your face and out of your mouth, absolutely 100%.
I'm glad you clarified that.
I hope that's clear enough.
My final words, I guess, my final thoughts, like Jerry Springer. Never let the bastards beat you down. Keep fighting. Free Assange and abolish the police.
Yeah, absolutely. That was freaking what? You are on fire tonight.
But abolish the FBI first?
All of them.
I would say, like, to be honest, like the police, I'm not saying the police are good, but the police would be so much better if the intelligence agencies weren't telling them what they should and should not be doing. And not staging false flags and like covering up things. And God,
I don't believe
really
that.
I think if
there's systemic issues with police,
100%.
We need to get rid of all of them.
But I would abolish the intelligence agencies first. That's my opinion. I think they're really evil.
I think they're
evil.
I think they're
Once
all
we get national improved
insidious.
Medicare for all, let's
burn
do
the
it.
whole motherfucking thing down.
I think what I'm going to leave people with is it's very trite, but every person is going through something that you necessarily don't know about. And I think, with the name Savage, I think people think I'm strong a lot. And these past 3 days have been incredibly difficult for me emotionally and mentally. And I think it's, and I just wanted to be transparent about that because I want people to understand the magnitude of what misinformation does to causes that people like myself need. Something I'm fighting for as a disabled person, very in medical debt, was, challenged Friday and misinformation spread about it. And to me, that's, it's very upsetting. And especially because now attacks were started as well because of trying to correct that statement. So I think I'm just going to leave people with just be aware that if people try to correct you with correct information, please just delete the post, restate it, and be done with it. Yeah. Because it is way more than just your tweet. It is so much more than that. You are posting something that affects people's lives. That's the thing I don't want people to miss. This is not just a tweet. Like, this sent me this weekend, and I felt like it pushed back so much of my work and our work, and the attacks get to me. I'm not going to lie. They fucking get to me. I'm human. And, it's something I just, a lot of people I just say, fuck off. But when they're people I've known and have worked with and stuff, it's hard to take. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to lie. It is difficult. So I just want people to realize that, like, there are people behind, these YouTube shows and stuff. Like, I'm a real person and stuff does actually get to me. And I think anyone who says it doesn't is pretty much full of shit. Because there's always going to be at least those few people who are just like, I can't, like, what the fuck? So I think it's just important to recognize that if you're posting something and it's wrong, just delete it. If you have comment after comment after comment trying to explain what you tweeted, that means you didn't tweet it well. That means delete it, do a new tweet, end of story. It's done. It is done. That's it. Nobody talks about it again.
Yeah.
That's our responsibility.
Easy.
That's what
it would have been really easy and straightforward, and that's why I was really confused by what happened. Like it feels like like I was searching for there to be something else like that was wrong. Like what did I miss? Did something else happen involved with this? You know, like it's really hard. It's really hard to be the target of especially when somebody has a larger, you know, when people have a larger backing too, because you get a much bigger brunt of it than, you know, if I tweeted something. You know what I mean? Like they took away, I had like over 2,000 followers on Twitter, which isn't a lot, but for me it was stop. And, you know, I've only been on there a couple of years. And so I was like, wow. And then they took 1,000 away. So my, you know, my 1,200 fucking followers, like that doesn't have as much impact as somebody with a larger channel that has a lot more followers, you know, or a larger Twitter following. You know what I mean? Like certain people have more followers and that has more of an impact. More people are going to see that. Yeah, the reach is bigger, you know what I mean? So the more reach that you have, you know, the more important it is to make sure that you correct something. If it does, you know, if it does go sideways, just redo it. Like Joy said, I think that's just good, you know, like that's just being you know, responsible with what the information that you're putting out there.
And I on that note, I definitely
trust it.
Sorry.
Oh, I just said that people go to them for information and they trust it. And that's
people want to trust that.
Disappointing part of all of this.
Right. Absolutely. And speaking of followers, I have 4,000 on my Rockfin. I now have 898 on my YouTube because a lot of my followers were dropped. Or subscribers. If you are not subscribed to me on YouTube, please do, because now I can't even get fucking super chats because they dropped me so low. It's Savage Joy Marie Man. Also, if you have followed me, make sure you still are following me because, yeah.
They do the same thing to me. They unfollowed people and they nuked Ricky's channel. So, Ricky, I want to tell you again that you can always do a Ricky Rants takeover and I will completely give you the platforms and you come and you do your fucking thing.
Thank you.
You know that.
I mean,
you know.
You don't want to get zapped either, though. I mean, look.
I'm on Odyssey and Rumble too, though. We don't have to do it. We can start on YouTube and then move everybody right over there.
Yeah, my videos are on Odyssey because that's like a YouTube, you know, like mirror site basically.
Yeah.
And like you can like go back and look, like when I say I don't know the answer to the questions, because most of my things are just like my channel is all about asking the important questions, you know. Right. But when I made a statement and when I said things, you can go back and look. Like I've been right historically. The things I actually said, no, I really believe this is this. I really 100% believe this is this. I was right about all those things, and history's been very kind to those old videos. But like, damn, that's where we're at. The truth the truth in its full form does not exist on YouTube. You have to dance around the truth. Even in this conversation, we can't really go all the way on certain topics. We really have to kind of tiptoe around it. And that sucks to have to.
I mean, I'm waiting for attacks. Even and I don't think we said anything unfair whatsoever. But there's still going to be attacks. I mean, that's just how it is. And
as we always say, my DMs are open.
Absolutely.
And chat, our email is stevecutlerlive@gmail.com. I will grab the StreamYard link and invite anybody on to have a conversation publicly, or we can have it privately on the phone, on Zoom, on StreamYard, any way. We are completely open to always having the conversation.
Who has any kind of
anybody that has any problem, not just tonight,
or any kind of anything at any time, listening to this live stream or playing back this, you know, the restream of it.
Yeah,
please, by all means, get in touch.
Yeah,
Drop us a line.
Anytime.
Whatever you want
Thank
to do.
you.
We're
Yeah.
And
Fuck yeah.
Ricky, people requested a Ricky Rants, so we're gonna have to figure that out. Like, we need some more Ricky Rants.
Full on vintage.
For sure.
Thank you.
I have
Thank
an
you,
idea. The
good job.
show is called A Dose of Ricky.
Oh,
Ooh, let me get my dose of Ricky today.
I know, right?
Ugh, I don't know.
We'll put Ricky's face on a page of LSD or dose of Ricky.
Wow.
Oh, see?
A microdose show.
I'm
That'd be
feeding
Yeah.
for some Ricky.
Everybody tune in for,
Seriously,
10
though.
milligrams of Ricky.
Draw
micrograms.
from Ricky.
Even if you're launching your new channel and you wanna stream to more than one place,
Yeah,
like
you wanna
you
hype it.
let us know. We are
We got
here to
you.
fucking help,
We're like your
dude.
hype man.
I don't
All
do
you guys.
YouTube anymore. Fuck
we got
YouTube.
you.
Excuse my French tonight. I've been dropping f-bombs, but
What?
I can't do
You're in
YouTube
good
anymore.
company.
I can't in
I
good
didn't
faith
fucking
even
hear you. What'd you fucking say over there?
with YouTube. I can't create another YouTube channel though. I can't create another YouTube channel. I can't
Well, you
do
just
it.
have to be a different person, sort of.
I can do that. Yeah, new email, blah blah blah. I know you can create another. I know people have had like 10 YouTube channels. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
Ryan
I don't think I want to
Christian's done it like
participate
67
though.
times, I think.
You don't want to
Because
participate on YouTube.
because-
Jason Burmis has like 77 different YouTube fucking channels. you
Yeah,
know?
like, I don't want to do it because I would have to do it differently than I did before, and I don't want to do it
Right.
differently.
Right.
Mhm.
I got zapped because I was doing it the
Have
right
to
way.
self-censor.
I was
Mhm.
doing it the
I
exact
feel you.
way that I like when I first started doing YouTube stuff. It was like corny shit, and it was like it wasn't important. It was like okay, it was
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe some observational political stuff. It was kind of corny. Some of it was fun, and then I started getting to like these rants that were important. These were I was asking questions that like we need answered,
Right.
and then you're not allowed to ask those questions on YouTube. You used to could. I know back in the day, these
did.
videos were
Oh,
dime a
back
dozen.
in the
You know.
day, I said anything.
Yep.
You could say anything on YouTube. It was beautiful. YouTube was a great tool back in the day. Now it is. I just, this for this format, what we're doing right now, awesome. And I'm glad that we're still able to do it. And I hope we're still able to do it in the future. But what I was doing, even what I was doing, I can't do that anymore. And I don't want to stream if I'm not doing what I want to do. I don't like Rumble. I don't like the way it works on the back end. I haven't streamed on Odyssey or
Odyssey's
BitShooter
a
or any of these
little
other
actually
places.
a little easier because your stream key is like kind of forever. Like you don't have to keep changing it. With Rumble, you have to keep changing the stream key each time you stream.
Yeah, Rumble is honestly it's a pain in the ass on the back end, and they've been censoring people too. By the way, Rumble has been censoring already.
They have.
Like we don't make anything on any of the the channels, but they have like where it's like like our some of my videos are demonetized, like where I can't make money over there.
Already.
Like I don't have the views to make any money right now anyway. You know what I mean? But like I can't make anything because they've done that. Okay, chill, dude.
Already, and
Yeah.
that's
As soon as they got on the Nasdaq, they were just like,
so
okay.
bad. So
I do too.
That. But okay, so thank you so much for having me and us. Also, if anyone wants to tune in tomorrow night, I do have my own channel, but Monday nights I do a show Postmortem Breakdown on Real Progress in Action. Tomorrow night, I will have the wonderful Courtney Banks and Andy Kennedy. So we will be breaking down the week's news. So join pretty please. And
Check out Joy.
You. What's that?
Love you.
Go check
Love
out Joy.
you.
For sure.
Thank you so much. And of course, Elizabeth and Ricky. Love you, fam.
Yeah. And I'm putting the link to Joy's channel in the chat.
Thank you so
Everybody.
much.
You're welcome. We'll put it in
I'll
our
talk to you later,
with our
Savage.
show notes and stuff too.
Yeah,
Talk to you
thank you, guys.
later.
Thank
Take
you
care,
so much.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
Thank you for everything. You
Yeah.
two are amazing.
You guys
Love you
rock.
so
You're
much.
amazing.
Appreciate you every single day.
Keep
You
on
help
rocking.
keep me
Aw.
sane.
Oh.
And
You're
then
so
there's
sweet.
Ricky, who's trying to get me to join him down the rabbit hole.
Oh
Come on, you want to know all this? Like, no,
Oh
you
my-
just know it, okay?
I don't even want to talk to you about what I've been looking at lately. Oh my god.
Yeah, we haven't had just a one-on-one. in a long time.
I don't
I'm sure
even.
there's a lot.
Guys,
We need a catch up
Peaches, say
sesh
goodnight.
with Ricky though. If you want to give us an hour sometime, man, just pop in.
yeah, I can't even talk about all the things I've been looking at lately. It's on YouTube.
All right, bye,
Alright, guys.
YouTube.